So while talking to you, I got one more. This is how conversation leads to another conversation. So India versus Canada detectives also.
Well, I'm not sure if I know a lot of detectives in India,
Yeah, but
but
I'm sure
I
you
have
heard the
some options.
stories. Yeah,
I've started.
yeah.
I actually had. I was in Ranchi,
Huh.
and I was at the end of the full day event. I got a manager of the hotel comes to me and says, "There's a CABI inspector wants to talk to you." I'm like, "Maise ki baat kar-" like why,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And he goes, he wants to call you in his own suite, in his bedroom,
Yeah.
in the hotel room. And I said,
But
no.
why?
I said no.
Yeah.
I said, why? And then I said, I'm not going to his room. So he goes, they go, no, he's a CBI inspector. You need to, like, they're all, like, even the managers and all that, they're all worried.
Yeah.
So I said, no, tell him to come down.
Yeah.
And they're like, are you sure you're going to tell him? I said, yes. So I said, tell him to come down. I'll be here for 10 more minutes if he wants to see me. And they are all scared. So they went upstairs. They told him. And he goes, okay, I'll come down. He came down. He goes, sir, I'm your fan.
हाँ
अभी मैं इस होटल में आया था.
हाँ
Okay. And मैं आपको YouTube पे follow करता हूँ. And now I see, like, in the hotel that your big poster is there. Please, can I just sit with you? So we talked, and there I had some ideas what they do,
Yeah,
all that
yeah.
stuff. So
Interesting.
yeah, it's very interesting. It's very, he brought his issues and what's going on, and so yeah.
How much do power and ego works in this business?
Which business?
Real estate.
Power and ego.
Yeah.
Power works. Ego could be good and bad. So ego in anything, bad ego in anything is bad. Good ego can be good. It could be misconstrued as a confidence and then there's a line that you go over, then it becomes ego. So in India, there's a bigger ego than in Canada with people that I deal with.
Yeah.
So it's like, unko bolo ki mere se aake mile.
हाँ
And if I say no, like how dare he, And in Canada, it's not as much. In Canada, they're like, okay, I want to see him, right? And see what he wants. And I would say, come to my office. They're like, okay, ठीक है. They know.
Yeah.
But in India, what's happening is when people call me, I see, it's not everybody, but some of them, they're like, I'm calling you, you got to come.
Yeah.
Right? Because I have, I do like 100 crore business every month or something
Yeah.
like that. And I politely declined. I said, no, I'm not coming. And then some of them get very mad, and some of them are actually like, oh, how can we meet you? And then I say, okay, well, meet me at my hotel and in this place, and then before you meet me, tell me what is this all about?
Yeah. What's the agenda?
Agenda.
Yeah.
But they with the people who are successful, they don't want to tell me the agenda. Like, how dare you ask me for agenda? So
But isn't it annoying?
it's annoying. It's annoying. I also notice they look at you and then they look at others. For example, him or versus waiter, for example.
Yeah.
So they're like, "Sir, aap aaye mauj mada, oi, jaldi se khana lao."
Ah.
Like what? So now I know who they are really, right?
Yeah.
And for me, I've been very humbled from beginning. Where if you see the waiter, you'll see me. I don't talk to them like that. And it's not like because how it looks. It's who I am, So there
Maybe
is
it's because the way you are
brought up.
brought up, like
Yeah,
from
yeah.
where you come from, right?
Yeah, and maybe also because humble beginnings to that level, and because the way I think is that you need to, if you're polite, then you should be polite with everybody, unless something happens and that's different. But why are you in 1 second like that, and with a waiter you're like, jaldi, and the way the attitude is changed, right? And they come back to me, it's like back to normal, like
As if nothing happened.
as nothing happened, and then poor waiters running and doing whatever. So, and that's just an example, right?
Yeah.
Or if they come to talk, I'm talking about the high level people. They come talk to you maybe, but maybe helper is not as important, So that mentality happens to be there as well, and then this attitude of, because I charge like 1 crore rupees for my consulting, and they're like, some of them will just like, ye lo 1 crore, now you have to do whatever I tell you. I said, no, it doesn't work that way. I say, you have to fill out a form. Okay? And tell me why I
I can
should take you
imagine
on.
their ego shattering.
Yeah. I have had people who basically said, we just, you have to, and I've said, no, you have to fill out a form and you have to answer all these questions. Maybe I will take you on if you have 1 crore rupees or more, right? And the ego is either they run and then they leave a skid marks as they run away, or they humble themselves a bit and they fill it out and then they wait. And I remember Delhi, we had builders. They come in, they said, हमारा माल को वो करना है, बेचना है, फ्लैट को बेचना है, 1 करोड़ दे देंगे आप, just go tell everybody, bring you investors and all that. I said, no. I said, you fill out a form. So कुछ लोग,
बट आपको डर लगता है कि कुछ लोग ऑफेंड होके शायद कुछ कर सकते हैं?
डर नहीं लगता है, but I don't say
Like the kind of people you are dealing with, like obviously
Usually-
whoever has the money of 1 crore throwing,
yeah.
उसके पास पावर, उसके पास पैसा, सब कुछ है, right?
Yeah, but the way I say to them is different. Like, I'm telling you how what the end result is. But usually I would say, look, I have 2 spots left for consulting. There's 80 people, 80 of you. I cannot take on everybody. So the only way I will know if I can help you, I don't want to waste your 1 crore rupees. The only way I will know is that if you fill out this form and my team will analyze it. And if I know and if I believe I can help you, then only then I want your crore rupees. Otherwise, I don't want you to waste your crore rupees. So it becomes like, most of them. But even with that, the undertone is I can tell that they're offended. But I don't want to offend them. But I also don't want to work with them if they are that type of people. So right now I choose my clients, basically. I literally, really choose my clients. I don't have the time to deal with anybody that I don't want to work with, right? Because those 1 crore rupees clients, that's not how I make my money. 1 crore is just a way to see if the right person is coming in and then future partnership. That's all it is.
लोग ना समझ नहीं पाएंगे. आपने बोल तो दिया, I charge 1 crore as a consulting fee. अब लोगों को ये समझना है कि यार what do this person do? No,
I have no problem.
Before we go ahead and talk about India versus Canada, so many things that we have planned to talk today. Let me give little bit idea, because the cameras have already started rolling.
Okay.
So that you are Sunil
Tulsiani.
And the wealthy cop के नाम से आपको social media पे जाना जाता है. Coming from a very humble beginning, from the slums to being a cop, to being an entrepreneur, real estate investor, to someone who is now teaching people how to make money through real estate, consulting them, helping them grow their real estate business. And now you're essentially mentoring a lot of people. You're essentially helping them grow. So other than this, I would like to take you 2 to 3 minutes, maybe tell me a little bit about you so that people know who you are.
Absolutely. पहली बात तो यह है कि आई वाज बोर्न इन कटनी मध्य प्रदेश, और वहाँ पे फादर फैक्ट्री में काम करते थे, एंड देन दे डिसाइडेड फॉर एम्प्लॉयमेंट पर्पसेस टू कम टू दिल्ली. जब दिल्ली में आए तो हम दूसरों के फ्लैट्स में रहते थे, जो जिनके पास 2 बेडरूम फ्लैट है, उसमें से 1 रूम हम लेते थे. उस 1 रूम में हम 5 जने, वही हमारा लिविंग रूम है, वही हमारा बेडरूम है, वही हमारा किचन है, उसी के अंदर हम रहते थे 5. एंड द लिविंग रूम was belonging to the landlord, and the one washroom gets shared with them, and they have the first priority, and then we have the second priority. So this is how we lived, like a paying guest in other places. So ऐसे हम कई जगह गए, और उस टाइम मेरे को पता ही नहीं था जब मैं छोटा था यहाँ पे दिल्ली में कि that's not normal. I thought that was normal. That's how people live. एक अमीर होते हैं, गरीब होते हैं, गरीब लोग ऐसे बैठ रहते हैं. डैडी फैक्ट्री में काम कर रहे हैं, और वो उनके पास ये होता था, बेटा go to school, get good grades, गेट गुड मार्क्स, और एक दिन अच्छा जॉब मिल जाएगा, बस ये करना है. और अगर तुम्हें फ्रीडम है सब चीज़ करने की, जो तुम करना चाहते हो एज अ सन, फ्रीडम का बताता हूँ, डॉक्टर, लॉयर, इंजीनियर, अगर नालायक हो तो गवर्नमेंट जॉब. ये 4 चीज़ों है कि फ्रीडम है.
फ्रीडम है,
ये फ्रीडम है बस. ओके. एंड आई वॉज अ बैड स्टूडेंट. मेरे को स्कूल जाना अच्छा नहीं लगता था. आई वुड लुक आउटसाइड द विंडो, पीपल सेड डोंट, टीचर वुड से डोंट थिंक. मैं लोगों की कॉपी करता था, टीचर बोलता डोंट कॉपी। और मैं जब when I became successful, those are the reasons why I became successful, to copy the people जो कर रहे हैं, सोचना, thinking, that's how you make money.
Yeah.
And एक दूसरे से बातें नहीं करो जब टेस्ट हो रहा है, which is called collaboration
Yeah.
in business. so
You have basically given a new meaning to all the Indian students.
क्या होता था, मैं हाथ में छुपा के लिख के जाता था यहाँ पे अपने this is late 70s, 1970s. I used to write all the answers, and मेरा एक दोस्त होता था जो हमेशा 90% लाता था, तो उसके साथ बैठता था, कभी कभी वो ऐसे दिखा देता था मेरे को, and I barely passed basically. I hate that, other than meeting people and all that stuff. जो वो टीच कर रहे थे ना स्कूल में, वो मेरे को नहीं सीखना था कि किस साल में किस राजा ने किस रानी के साथ 50 साल में क्या हुआ, फिर ये हुआ, फिर उसकी डेट याद रखो. आई फेल्ट लाइक मैं क्यों याद रखूं इन चीज़ों को, मेरे को ये बताओ कि मैं सक्सेसफुल कैसे बनूंगा. एंड आई न्यू देयर वाज समथिंग अबाउट मी दैट वांटेड टू बिकम सक्सेसफुल. फिर जब हम कनाडा गए 1981 में, तो वहाँ पे भी वही प्रॉब्लम हुआ कि स्कूल मेरे को अच्छा नहीं लगता था, पर एक बहुत ब्यूटीफुल पार्ट थी.
बट कनाडा क्यों गए थे?
सो माई अंकल वहाँ पे रहते थे, और वहाँ पे यहाँ पे मेरे फादर पैटर्न मेकर थे, मेटल पैटर्न मेकर्स.
ओके.
तो वहाँ पे 1980 में उनके ऑनर आए मेरे अंकल के पास कि भाई हमें पैटर्न मेकर चाहिए. और वहाँ पे पैटर्न मेकर का कोई कोर्स ही नहीं है, और कैनेडियंस नहीं मिल रहे थे उनको, और उनके पास बिजनेस बहुत चल रही थी. तो मेरे अंकल ने जोकिंगली बोल दिया कि भाई मेरा भाई है, बहुत अच्छा है वो, कहीं कहाँ है, ले आओ उसको. बोला इंडिया में है. तो लॉन्ग स्टोरी शॉर्ट, उन्होंने बोला ठीक है, आई स्पॉन्सर हिम. उस डैडी को स्पॉन्सर किया, और फिर हम वहाँ पहुँचे. और एक तो बहुत ब्यूटीफुल चीज़ थी कि वहाँ पे सैटरडे संडे छुट्टी मिलती है स्कूल की, और यहाँ पे दिल्ली में सैटरडे तक मैं पढ़ने जाता था.
मैं भी जा रहा सैटरडे को,
है ना. और जब मैं पकड़ा जाता था या टीचर का मूड अच्छा नहीं होता था, तो पिटाई होती थी बहुत, है ना. वहां पे वो टच नहीं कर सकते हैं. मैंने कहा ये तो जन्नत में पहुंच गया हूं मैं. एक तो 5 दिन को जाना है कुल, 2 दिन, मैंने कहा हर हफ्ते 2 दिन छुट्टी, प्लस ये हाथ नहीं लगा सकते हैं,
प्लस मार नहीं सकते, कुछ कह नहीं सकते.
वो बहुत बड़ी बात.
अब मैं खिड़की से जितना बाहर देखना चाहूँ देख सकता हूँ.
बस फिर देन वही अंकल जिन्होंने बुलाया था, उन्होंने मेरे को बोला बेटा you should be a police officer. And then when they brought us.
But why did he thought you should be a police officer?
Remember those 4 freedom? है ना. कौन सी फ्रीडम थी मेरे पास?
डॉक्टर,
लॉयर, इंजीनियर. अगर ये तीनों में नालायक हो तो गवर्नमेंट जॉब.
अच्छा, गवर्नमेंट जॉब में पुलिस ऑफिसर काउंट कर रहे थे.
हाँ, वो चीज़ है इस. which it is. गवर्नमेंट जॉब में. पर मेरे को कितना उन्होंने बोला कि डॉक्टर बनो, and I hate, मेरे को नहीं अच्छा नहीं लगता था, and I was not smart enough academically. So
that's why you been to Canada. That's why you became a police officer.
And उसमें क्या हुआ कि मेरे को एक बात समझ में, because in span of 15 years of policing, क्योंकि कई लोग जो ये सुनेंगे ना, कभी कभी उनके पास ये आइडिया आती है कि I'm selling them कि education is not good. That's not the message. The right education for the right person is good. अगर आप शेर को बोलोगे कि भाई आप पानी में जाओ, स्विमिंग करके आओ, और मछली को बोलोगे पेड़ पे चढ़ जाओ, ठीक है ना, दोनों नहीं कर पाएंगे. हम ह्यूमन बीइंग्स भी ऐसे ही हैं. कोई डॉक्टर के लिए बना है, कोई इंजीनियर के लिए बना है, कोई दूसरी चीज, कोई बिजनेस के लिए बना है. हम बिजनेस वालों को बोलेंगे कि आप जब टेक्निकल काम करो, या टेक्निकल वाले को करोगे, हम दूसरे की जिंदगी जी रहे हैं उस टाइम, अपनी जिंदगी नहीं जी रहे हैं. तो
क्यों, कैसे पता करे कोई कि यार ये बंदा इसके लिए बना है?
बहुत देखिए, जस्ट लुक एट ऐसा जो आप काम करते हो. मेरे को बोला गया था कि ज्यादा नहीं बोलो. आज मैं करोड़ों कमा रहा हूं बोलने से. आई एम अ पब्लिक स्पीकर. ओपरा को भी बोला था. टोनी रॉबिन्स को बोला गया था कि यू टॉक टू मच. आज टोनी रॉबिन्स इज अ बिलियनर बिकॉज ऑफ दैट, फॉर पब्लिक स्पीकर. सो मुझे कहा गया था कि सो देखिए कि आपका बच्चा, अगर आप पेरेंट्स हैं, कि उसकी नेचुरल इंक्लिनेशन क्या है. क्या वो सच्ची मुची में साइंस में जाना चाह रहा है? क्या वो अच्छे रोबोट्स बनाना चाह रहा है? चाहे वो किताबें लिख रहा है, चाहे वो पेंट कर रहा है, उसको वो ध्यान में दीजिए कि उसका टाइम ऐसे बीत जाता है कि पता नहीं चलता. लोग कहते हैं अरे मेरा बेटा तो क्रिकेट खेलता है सारा दिन. हो सकता है वो अच्छा हो क्रिकेट में आगे चल के, हो सकता है वो एथलीट अच्छा बने, So
वर्स्ट के सिनेरियो स्पोर्ट्स कोटा में सरकारी जॉब तो ले ही लेगा.
एग्जैक्टली
Yeah.
और हमें क्या है कि हो सकता है 100 साल पहले 80 साल पहले जो भी है कि ये सारी चीज़ें सही थी कि भाई देखो तुम बेटे हो मेरे, अच्छे मार्क्स लाने हैं,
जो मैं कहूँगा वही करना
डॉक्टर
है.
बनना है. ओके, हजारों साल से वो आ रहा है. मैं फार्मर हूँ, तुम भी फार्मर हो, वो भी फार्मर, सब बनो. राइट. आप बोलोगे जैसे आप पॉडकास्टर बनना है, और उनको समझ में ही नहीं आएगा पॉडकास्टर होता क्या है. वो बोलेगा काम क्या करोगे भाई, पॉडकास्ट तो करोगे, काम क्या करना है.
मेरी मम्मी तो अभी भी बोलते हैं ये तो क्या लोगों के साथ मिलके क्या वीडियो बनाता रहता है.
Exactly.
क्यों बनाता है, सब लोगों को अपने बारे में क्यों बताता है.
So क्या हुआ कि I actually did follow my father footstep. And पर एक चीज पता चला मेरे को 15 साल की पुलिस में. I became uniform officer, then I became a police detective, then I became a police negotiator, and then finally a commander. And उसकी पढ़ाई करने के लिए मेरे को इतनी पढ़ाई करनी पड़ी as an adult. तो उस टाइम मेरे को समझ में आया कि जो सब्जेक्ट मेरे को पसंद है, जैसे इन्वेस्टिगेशन, इन्फ्लुएंस, क्रिमिनल इन्वेस्टिगेशन, ड्रग इन्वेस्टिगेशन, वारंट्स, ये वो मेरे को बहुत, क्योंकि आई यूज्ड टू लव मूवीज. मेरे को लगता था कि मैं उनकी तरह हूँ. एंड
जेम्स बॉन्ड टाइप कैरेक्टर.
एंड मैं घंटों घंटों उनके बारे में पढ़ता था और स्किल सीखता था. बिकॉज आई बिकेम द पर्सन व्हेन इन कनाडा, अगर कोई इंसान अरेस्ट होता है, we tell them you're under arrest, anything you say can be used against you. ठीक है ना, in court. So person says okay, I'm done. I was a detective. मेरा जॉब क्या था, मेरा जॉब था जो बोलता था कि मैं नहीं बताऊंगा कुछ भी, to get confession. And 98% success rate of getting confessions from people. तो ये एक skill थी जो है. So what I realized, I'm a street smart but not academically smart. पर जो चीज मेरे को पसंद है, कि जैसे मेरे को इस सब्जेक्ट पसंद है, उसमें मैं कर सकता हूँ,
उसमें मैं एकेडमिकली स्मार्ट हो सकता हूँ.
हाँ, हो सकता हूँ. क्योंकि मेरे को,
क्योंकि मेरा पैशन है वो.
और मेरे को अच्छा लग रहा है वो सब्जेक्ट. राइट. अगर मेरे को बोलोगे,
वो मैं दिल से कर रहा हूँ, सीधी बात ये बोले तो.
बिल्कुल. और ये हुआ मेरे लिए बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट चीज हुई कि भाई जो लोग ये समझते हैं, कभी कभी मेरे पास लोग आते हैं, कहते हैं सर मैंने MBA किया है, मुझे मालूम है कि आप एजुकेशन में नहीं मानते हो, यू डोंट बिलीव इन एजुकेशन. आई सेड नो, मैंने कभी नहीं बोला है. मैंने ये बोला है कि जो एजुकेशन है, अगर आपको डॉक्टर बनना है, अगर आपको बनना है खुद,
तो पढ़ो.
दैट्स फाइन. इंजीनियर बनना है, आई वांट द बेस्ट इंजीनियर. अकाउंटेंट बनना है, पर क्या आपको अकाउंटेंट बनना है? बोला, मेरे फादर ने बोला था. है ना. तो मैंने कहा कि आपको क्या बनना है? तो मैंने कहा रोज आप काम पे जाओगे जब बड़े हो जाओगे, और रोज काम पे जाओगे, और रोज यू वुड हेट इट. पर क्यों? बिकॉज आप जिंदा नहीं हो, यू नॉट अलाइव. सो मेरे कहने का मतलब ये है कि आई बिलीव इन एजुकेशन, पर वो एजुकेशन
जो आपको खुद को
पसंद हो. और बेस्ट एजुकेशन वो है जब आपका कॉलेज खत्म होता है ना, उस टाइम एजुकेशन खत्म नहीं होती है, उस टाइम आपकी रियल एजुकेशन शुरू हो रही है. एंड यू लर्न फ्रॉम द पीपल हु आर सक्सेसफुल. जैसे अगर कोई प्रोफेसर MBA सिखा रहा है, ही डजंट हैव $1 million बिजनेस. करेक्ट. सो सर्टेन लेवल तक दैट्स फाइन. बट नाउ आपने ग्रेजुएशन कर ली, वो डिग्री आ गई, इसका मतलब ये नहीं है कि बट दैट्स इट, आई एम गोना डू, यू नो, कि मेरा हो गया एजुकेशन फिनिश, आई एम डन. वंस इन अ वाइल, चलो साल में कहीं छोटा सा सर्टिफिकेट ले लिया एक दिन के लिए, वो नहीं. दिस इज वेयर योर रियल एजुकेशन स्टार्ट, फ्रॉम द रियल पीपल. जब मेरे को डिटेक्टिव बनना था, मैं किताबों में नहीं गया था, मैं डिटेक्टिव के पास गया था. मैंने बोला टीच मी योर स्टफ, टीच मी स्मॉल चीजें, नॉन वर्बल्स, द बॉडी लैंग्वेज, आई मूवमेंट्स, लिप मूवमेंट्स, द फेशियल कलर. ये चीजें उन्होंने मेरे को सिखाई थी फ्रॉम द रियल स्ट्रीट्स, कि कैसे आदमी वो सही बोल, कैसे उसको मतलब मना कर रहा है. देन यू बिल्ड द रिपोर्ट, देन यू बिल्ड द बियर, देन दे वांट टू टेल यू एवरीथिंग. Sale, basically it's selling. It's selling.
I want to grill down on this further.
बोलिए.
पहला तो मुझे ये पूछना है कि इंडिया वर्सेस कनाडा की अगर हम बात करते हैं, राइट, तो while being in India, your parents wanted you with 4 options, ठीक है. Have you seen something in Canada कि कनाडा में पेरेंट्स अलग सोचते हैं कुछ?
कनाडा और पूरे वर्ल्ड में, I would say majority of the people उनका एक ही है, मेरा दोस्त है रॉबर्ट कियोसाकी, रिच डैड पुअर डैड। उनकी बुक क्यों millions of people all over the world, including US and Canada.
I've read it. Amazing book.
है ना, amazing book है ना.
Yeah.
He and I'm thinking of writing a book with him actually for Indians, because he hasn't written the latest one. So मेरे कहने का मतलब ये है कि go to school, get good grades, get a good job is universal. है ना. बाकी डॉक्टर बनो, that is not necessarily universal. Engineer बनो, that's not it. But अच्छा काम करो, अच्छा करो. So हम अपने वाइफ को, अपनी फैमिली को, अपने माँ बाप को, अपने बेटे को, अपने चाचा को, दादा को बोल सकते हैं कि हमारा बेटा ये करता है, हम बहुत खुश हो गए. राइट, ये मतलब है. सो ये वहाँ पे भी चल रहा है.
अच्छा, वहाँ पे भी सेम है.
हाँ, सेम है. पर इंडियंस इन कनाडा और इंडियंस इन यूएस आर द सेम. तुम्हारे पास 4 ऑप्शंस हैं.
वहां जाके भी ऑप्शन चेंज नहीं हुए.
नहीं, इंडियंस, चाइनीज, आप देखोगे देयर, एंड नाउ IT प्रोफेशनल्स, एंड यू हैव कुछ ऐसे. भाई मैं बोल सकूं कि मेरा बेटा डॉक्टर है.
वहां पे भी यही हाल है.
हाँ, इंडियंस का.
इंडियंस का.
हाँ, और जो नॉन इंडियंस हैं, दे जस्ट वांट अ सिक्योर जॉब,
अ लाइफ दैट गिव्स यू मीनिंग.
या जस्ट सिक्योर जॉब. तुम जब उठो काम करो. पर हमारा मोटिव ये होना चाहिए, गो टू स्कूल, गेट गुड ग्रेड्स, एंड बिकम एन एंटरप्रेन्योर और गेट अ जॉब. ये ऑप्शन क्यों नहीं दे रहे हमें?
कि एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप का तो है ही नहीं यहाँ पे, अभी भी नहीं है. इवन दो
it's going,
still 1 to 2%, not majority of the people think about starting up. Yeah, that's the problem. But anyway, you mentioned a lot about policing, right? And I find it very fascinating, especially the detective part, right? Okay, I'm sure so many of cases you have dealt with while you were a police detective over there in Canada. क्या टेक्निक्स यूज करते थे? फॉर एग्जाम्पल, आपने जब मुझे जब आप बैठे थे, आपने मुझे बोला यार यू टॉक इन अ सर्टन वे, यू हैव अ सर्टन कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स टू इट, राइट? आई एम श्योर यू डील विद सो मेनी ऑफ क्रिमिनल्स जब आप करते थे केसेस. गिव मी फ्यू थिंग्स दैट आई एज अ पर्सन कैन मे बी फाइंड वर्बल क्यूज. सामने वाले को मैं क्या देखूं यार कि उसकी इंटेंशन पता लग जाए मुझे. कोई ऐसे क्यूज जो आम लोग भी समझ पाए लोगों के बारे में.
ये फिर कहीं मैं गलत यूज ना करें लोग. हाँ.
बट बताओ, बहुत बहुत अच्छा लगेगा मुझे सुन के.
नहीं, मैं बता रहा हूँ. एक्चुअली इट्स अ बहुत वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट क्वेश्चन है ये. और क्यों इंपॉर्टेंट क्वेश्चन है, मैं आई एम गोना गिव यू अ पैरेलल टू बिजनेस.
ठीक है. राइट,
बिकॉज बिजनेस वो भी मेरा प्रोफेशन था, ये भी मेरा प्रोफेशन. व्हाई डिड आई डू वेल इज एक्चुअली उसमें एक पैरेलल है दोनों का, सिमिलर है. मतलब आइडिया, सिमिलर आइडिया क्या है? पहली आइडिया ये है कि अथॉरिटी, राइट? पुलिस यूनिफॉर्म, अथॉरिटी, वो तो ऑटोमेटिक है, ठीक है ना? अथॉरिटी. सेकेंड, बिल्डिंग रिपोर्ट, राइट? व्हेन यू सिट विद समबडी. मेरे एक फ्रेंड है इंडिया में, वो पुलिस ऑफिसर है. वो मैंने उनको बोला कि हम ऐसे इन्वेस्टिगेट करते हैं. मेरे फ्रेंड ने बोला हम ऐसे इन्वेस्टिगेट करते हैं.
इंडिया में डंडा मार के होता है.
डंडा इन्वेस्टिगेशन. ओके. एंड बेसिकली इफ दे कैच देम, एंड अगेन उसमें भी होता है कि वो इंसान कौन है, अमीर है, सक्सेसफुल है वर्सेस रेगुलर है. तो उनका भी ट्रीटमेंट डिफरेंट होता है. इन कनाडा हमें सबको सर बोलना पड़ता है, चाहे वो कहीं का भी हो, चाहे वेटर हो, चाहे वो सर यू आर अंडर अरेस्ट, एंड ऐसे. एंड यू कैन हिट देम.
You can't hit them.
No,
in Canada.
Police cannot hit people.
But India में तो शुरुआत ही वहीं से होती है.
So that's a difference, right? That's a difference. So हमारा जॉब और मुश्किल है. क्यों मुश्किल है? आप उनको कह रहे हो कि you're under arrest, तुम्हें कुछ नहीं बताना है मेरे को. अगर तुम बताओगे तो मैं कोर्ट में अगेंस्ट यूज करूंगा. तुम चुप हो जाओ.
यहाँ पे तो हम स्टार्ट करते हैं बोलते बता तूने किया है. As if he's gonna agree. क्या मैंने किया है.
So एक तो हो गई अथॉरिटी, दूसरी हो गई बिल्डिंग रिपोर्ट, तीसरी हो गई 2 ears, one mouth, right? So the idea is one who asks questions is in charge all the time. चाहे बिजनेस हो, चाहे पुलिस में हो. If I'm asking a lot of questions, आपका क्लाइंट आपके पास आता है ना, अभी जो मैं अपने क्लाइंट्स लेता हूँ, I ask all the questions.
So
because
you maintain that authority.
the authority, and also person who's asked the question is in charge of that room. ठीक है ना, एक तो ये हो गया. फिर काफ़ी इन्फ्लुएंस चीज़ें हैं जो शायद कई लोगों को पता नहीं है, और मैं रिवील करता हूँ एक दो चीज़ें. एक तो ये है कि अगर आप और आपका और मेरा पोस्टर है, और मेरा पोस्टर थोड़ा हाई है और कोई भी नहीं देख सकता उसको, यू कैन नॉट सी इट विद योर आइज, it talks to your subconscious mind that this guy is authority. Okay, let me give you one that was unbelievable. एक केस आया था, और उस केस में किसी मर्द ने वाइफ को बहुत ब्रूटली मतलब असॉल्ट वगैरह किया था. सो उस 2-3 बार कर चुका था वो पुलिस में, ये वो. सो उसको पता था, बस उसका ये था कि यू नो आई जस्ट वांट टू टॉक टू माय लॉयर, आई डोंट वांट टू टॉक टू यू, आई डोंट वांट टू टॉक टू यू. 2 घंटे हो गए किसी को कुछ बोले जाए. हमारे पास कोई सबूत नहीं था अदर देन वाइफ. वो भी सबूत है, बट वी वांटेड हिम टू से. बड़ी चीज़ पुलिस में ये है पूरे वर्ल्ड में, स्पेशली नॉर्थ अमेरिका में, CSI, science, this and that. Actually, 90% of the cases are solved by saying, I did it. Confession. वो वाले कन्फेशन नहीं, ओके, द रियल कन्फेशन. क्योंकि जो वो कन्फेशन करेंगे ना, सारे वीडियो पे हो रहा है, राइट. एंड हम ये वो कहेंगे हाँ मैंने मारा है. अच्छा भाई आप बताओ कैसे मारा है. सो वो भी तो कोलैबोरेट करना है ना, कि भाई कहीं ऐसे तो नहीं बोल रहा है वो. सो वी आल्सो लुक एट दैट, एंड देन हम कोलैबोरेट करके फिर वापस उसको चेक करते हैं कि सच्ची मुच्ची वो यहाँ से वहाँ गया कि नहीं गया. उसने क्या, ऐसा नहीं कि उसने बोल दिया कि हो गया.
तो अरे कह दिया भाई, कह दिया तो कह दिया, मान लिया, उसने मान लिया,
साइन कर लो,
बस चलो 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 काम खत्म.
एंड सो एक तो ये हो गया. तो इस इंसान का मैं एक बताता हूँ आपको क्या किया था उन्होंने, जो कि किसी पुलिस ट्रेनिंग में नहीं था, बट वी डिड इट. तो क्या हुआ, मैंने उनको बोला कि उन्होंने मेरे को बुलाया, उन्होंने बताया ऐसी ये है. मैंने कहा ओके डू दिस फॉर मी, आई वांट यू टू डू दिस. तो क्या हुआ, वहाँ पे क्वीन ऑफ इंग्लैंड की फोटो लगी होती है हमारे उसमें, जैसे यहाँ पे गांधी जी करती है ना, वहाँ पे क्वीन, बिकॉज शी इज इन चार्ज स्टिल, एटलीस्ट लाइक शी इज हेड ऑफ द क्राउन. उसकी फोटो लगी हुई थी. तो उन्होंने क्या किया था, मेरी बड़ी फोटो लगाई, ओके, और क्वीन की फोटो के साथ मेरी फोटो थोड़ी ऊपर कर दी. और जिस हॉलवे में, मैंने उसको बोला उस हॉलवे में उसको वॉक कराओ, ओके, बैड गाय को वॉक कराओ कि भाई आपसे कोई बड़ा डिटेक्टिव आ रहा है मिलने के लिए.
ओह क्रेजी.
एंड यू नो सच्चाई तो ये है कि उसने उसको देखा भी नहीं होगा, एटलीस्ट कॉन्शियसली नहीं देखा. उसको ये भी नहीं पता होगा कि मेरी फोटो है, बट इट्स सबकॉन्शियस इन्फ्लुएंस कि ये क्वीन से भी बड़ा है, एंड ही इज कमिंग फॉर मी. एंड नाउ समझो ये हॉलवे है, इस हॉलवे में वॉक कर रहा है, एंड ही जस्ट वॉकिंग, और उसकी शायद सब यू नो विजुअल जो है ना थोड़ा सा शायद दिखाई दे रहा हो, जैसे अभी ये मेरे को ये थोड़ा सा दिखाई दे रहा है ये ट्री, पर मैंने इसको ठीक से देखा नहीं है, बट इट्स टॉकिंग टू यू. एंड सो उसको वहाँ ले गए, ठीक है. फिर उसको बिठाया वहाँ पे, तो बिठाया, फिर उसको बोला कि ही इज कमिंग, ओके, एंड उसने बोला आई डोंट केयर. फिर जब मैं आया, मैं नीचे आके बैठा, मैंने फीमेल पुलिस ऑफिसर को बोला आ जाओ. आई वो अंदर, मैंने कहा कि कैन यू गेट मी सम कॉफ़ी. मैं काफ़ी पीता ही नहीं था. कॉफ़ी लाई, कॉफ़ी ला के उसने जानबूझ के गिरा दी कॉफ़ी, फीमेल पुलिस ऑफिसर ने. मैंने कहा व्हाट काइंड ऑफ कैसे लोगों को पुलिस में भर दिया है. वुमेन को तो पुलिस में होना ही नहीं चाहिए, उनका कोई वैल्यू ही नहीं है ना. ऐसी लोगों को तो इतनी पनिशमेंट देनी चाहिए. आई कैन बिलीव, गेट आउट ऑफ माय रूम. तो वो आदमी जो जिसने उसने भी वाइफ को किया वो लगता ही. सो फिर मैंने उसको बोला, मैंने कहा लुक, you beat up your wife and you killed her. कहता I only beat her, I didn't kill her. Confession.
Crazy. This is crazy.
अपने बच्चों को जाओगे, बेटा तुम्हारी कंप्लेन आई है कि तुमने 4 लोगों को पत्थर से मार दिया, उनका सर फट गया, वो जेल में वो वहाँ चले गए. अब नहीं डैडी, मैंने पत्थर से नहीं मारा था उसको, सिर्फ थप्पड़ मारा था. अच्छा बेटा. So this is a thing. You go and exaggerate the problem. अगर किसी ने चोरी की है तो उसको बोलेंगे तुम चोरी करके आए हो. I would say, look, you stole and then you hurt 5 people. Where's the knife? What knife? I didn't have no wife. Not knife. उसने अगर एक इंसान को मारा है, I'll go in and say, why would you kill 9 people? He said, no, I didn't kill 9 people. उसके बीच और सबके बीच में एक रिपोर्ट बिल्डिंग होती है. रिपोर्ट बिल्डिंग उसमें ये होता है कि जिसको मैंने बोला जाओ, फिर मैंने कहा where's his coffee? And वो कहता मेरी भी कॉफी कहाँ है यार? Where's my coffee? ऐसे से बैठने लग गया. मैंने कहा give this man a coffee. फिर वो बोलता है कि मैंने उसको मारा नहीं है. I didn't kill her, I just hit her. मैंने कहा that's it? मेरा टाइम वेस्ट कर रहे हो तुमने. इस इंसान ने जो सिर्फ 2 थप्पड़ मारे उसके लिए मेरे को बुलाया यहाँ पे. थोड़े बहुत चोट लगने के मुझे लगा कि बड़े केस है. मैंने कहा ये लोग पागल ऐसे गेट आउट ऑफ माय रूम. फिर उसको बोलता हूँ यार ये लोग दिस पीपल दे हैव नो सेंस. मैं इस टाइम पे आया हूँ यहाँ पे और बताया गया कि मुझे लगा कि तुम बहुत बुरे आदमी हो, but you seems like a nice guy. What happened? Confession पूरा.
Amazing.
And then she came. उसने बोला और मैंने क्यों उस औरत को बोला पुलिस वाली को गिराओ. कहानी वहीं से शुरू हुई थी. उसकी वाइफ आई, चाय गिराई, प्रॉब्लम शुरू हुआ. उसने इसको बहुत बीट किया, बहुत जमीन पे मार का ये बहुत मतलब प्रॉब्लम किए. तो वही क्रिएट किया मैंने. तो वो लगा कि ये तो मेरा दोस्त है. बिजनेस में क्या करना है? सेम थिंग. यू सिट विद समबडी. पहली चीज है देखो कि उसको क्या पसंद है. उसको क्या पसंद है, उसके साथ खाना खाओ. राइट? उसके साथ मैंने क्या किया है, 10,000 साल पुरानी deep building relationship technique is this: you eat or drink with them. So लोग बिजनेस में बोलते हैं कि मैं इस आदमी से मिलूंगा, फिर मिलते ही मैं उसको अपना प्रोडक्ट दूंगा, उसके बोलूंगा ये करो. मैं कहता हूँ पहले जाके उससे मिलो और बोलो कि how can I eat with him to yourself. पहले उनसे रिलेशनशिप बनाओ. 10,000 साल पहले हम उसी इंसान को अपने घर में लाते थे जिस पे हमारा भरोसा था, ट्रस्ट था.
करेक्ट.
राइट? एंड देन यू ईट विथ देम. आज वो सिचुएशन नहीं है, पर टेक्स ह्यूमन बीइंग्स बैक टू 10,000 years. सो अगर किसी CEO से मिलना है, मेरे से मिलना है, या किसी और से सक्सेसफुल पर्सन से मिलना है, द फर्स्ट थिंग यू शुड नॉट डू इज, मेरे पास क्या आता है कि कनेक्शन आते हैं लिंक्डइन पे. हमारी टीम है जो लिंक्डइन पे अप्रूव करती है, नहीं करती है. इमीडिएटली कहते हैं सर मेरे गांव में 2 बीघा जमीन है और $1 million दे दो आप मेरे को. आई डोंट नो देम.
It happens a lot.
It happens. So मेरे कहने का मतलब ये है कि आप सोचो कि भाई ये सोचो कि इसके साथ मैं चलो ये जैसे अभी मेरे इवेंट्स हो रहे हैं, you should just say okay let me go see them. क्या मिलो तो सही ना उससे. अगर आपका वो if you want to work with somebody.
Correct.
तो वो रिपोर्ट बिल्डिंग बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. वो लोग स्किप कर देते हैं वो, है ना. तो हमारे पुलिस में भी हमने क्या करता था, आई सिट विद देम एंड आई फर्स्ट गोल मेरा ये होता था कि उसको, मेरे को मालूम है 6 घंटे से है वहाँ पे, भूख तो लगी होगी उसको. और दूसरे लोगों को मैंने बोला कि इसको मतलब खाने के लिए नहीं पूछो, कुछ भी ना करो, एंड बोलो कि मेक हिम फील लाइक उसको खाना बनाना नहीं मिलेगा.
गुड कॉप बैड कॉप वाली स्ट्रैटेजी.
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल. बट गुड कॉप बैड कॉप स्ट्रैटेजी में भी क्या करना है वो मैं बता रहा हूँ आपको. कि उसमें मैंने उसको जाके बोलता हूँ कि भाई समथिंग लाइक यू मस्ट बी हंग्री. मेरे को पता है ही हंग्री, है ना. फिर औरत को मैंने जब दूसरी काफ़ी आई ना, मैंने कहा यू डोंट कम बैक. ओके. मैंने send somebody else and somebody else was a man. क्योंकि वो women का प्रॉब्लम था उसका. तो so they bring the coffee, I say okay thank you and then they go away. I said keep telling me, oh but मैंने कहा क्या खाओगे, कोई बोलेगा McDonald's. मैंने कहा McDonald's. Oh yeah, which one? The you want fries and Coke with that too? Yeah. You want apple pie with that too? Because you know what, my favorite actually is apple pie. क्योंकि उसने तो बता दिया मेरे को कि वो McDonald's पसंद है उसको, right? So कहता yeah I like it too. I said do you like Sprite or Coke? He said yeah I like Coke. मैंने कहा it's my favorite. उन दिनों में कभी कभी पी लेता था कोक. I don't drink it anymore. So I actually then bring the same cup, same everything, same thing, and बोलता हूँ go ahead, take a sip. They take a sip, I take a sip, you build a report right there. Subconsciously. Everything is subconsciously. Consciously नहीं. So अब उन्होंने कन्फेस कर दिया, वीडियो पे बोल दिया, and about 98% solvable. जितने भी मेरे को कोई आदमी ब्रिज पे है, he wants to kill himself, मेरी जिंदगी खराब हो गई है, they called me to see. 100% success rate. Nobody jumped or killed themselves when I did that. Same thing. You go there, you build a report and everything like that. And कैसे खाने से, पीने से, वगैरह से, and then make the problem so big that they're like, no, मैं इतना बुरा आदमी नहीं हूँ भाई. You know. So then come
Give
down.
me an example of this, like how you saved someone from jumping. Do you remember any story?
Many. I have many
Something
of them.
that still like
There's
blanks your brain about it.
it's so there's one case where his girlfriend left him. उसकी girlfriend छोड़ के चली गई उसको, और वो सुबह के 1 या 2 बजे थे, and so he went on major highway, and he was doing maybe 140-180 kilometers, and उसका मकसद था कि किसी को बस मार दो कार में, and he wanted to kill himself, but he wanted to go this way. So then सुबह 2 के आसपास he just drove and then drove into somebody and car flipped and all that. बेचारे दूसरे लोग हैं, उनको चोट आई, he was fine. Okay. फिर बाहर निकला तो उसको लगा कि मैं इतना पागल हूँ कि मैं खुद को मार भी नहीं सकता हूँ. I'm so stupid that I can't even kill myself. Right? Because उसको लगा कि मेरी गर्लफ्रेंड छोड़ गई है, वो है, अब मैं खुद को मार भी नहीं सकता हूँ. तो उसने क्या किया, एक चाकू निकाला अपने, and he put the knife and then he थोड़ा सा dig किया उसने, थोड़ा सा खून निकला, and now he's told people कि don't get away, otherwise I'll kill myself right here. So police सारे आई, कम से कम 10 uniform और ambulance and fire trucks and सारे खड़े थे. अब 2 बजे थे सुबह, and they called me, and I'm coming. And मैंने questions पूछे उनसे. I have a way to ask. Just like in business, prospecting, you prospect. ठीक है? Here I'm prospecting कि है कौन, उसका background क्या, क्यों कर रहा है, what's the issue, उसकी age क्या है, everything, demeanor क्या है जो है, and what's the chances of him actually killing himself. And they said chances, the ambulance वालों ने बोला कि chances are high because he's not.
How do you arrive at chances?
Chances of killing himself.
How do you figure that out?
So somebody, let's say, who's drunk, somebody who's in drugs, somebody जो वैसे बोल, and plus उनका क्या है कि उनका suicidal tendency होती है,
History रही है,
history है,
yeah.
so we take all that history in and say like, okay,
And then combine it and give it a score.
yeah, basically, and then say, okay, this is what it is, ठीक है ना. So मुझे लगा कि हाँ, ये he could do it, and but now क्या है कि कम से कम 50 उस दिन तो ऐसे ही लग रहा था मेरे को कि पूरा हाईवे बंद कर दिया, बिकॉज दूसरी कार फ्लिप हो गई, उसको इंजरी हुई, ऑलमोस्ट डेथ उसकी हुई, तो उसकी वजह से वी हैड टू गेट स्पेशलिस्ट एंड एवरीथिंग. अब एक बंदा आ रहा है, वो मैं, वो सब मेरे को ही देख रहे हैं, व्हाट इज ही गोइंग टू डू, एन इंडियन, कि व्हाट इज ही करेगा क्या ये. अगर आपके आने के बाद वो अपने आप को मार देता है, you lose so much there could be a problem, फिर इंक्वायरी वगैरह हो सकती है, right? And plus मेरे को लगेगा खराब, right?
Correct.
So
जो उसको लग रहा था कि मैं कुछ नहीं कर पाया, वो आपको लगेगा कि यार मैं कैसा हूँ, मैं कुछ नहीं कर पाया.
yeah, और जो हमारे colleagues हैं,
yeah, of course,
फायर डिपार्टमेंट के जो लोग मेरे को जानते हैं, एम्बुलेंस वाले जो मेरे को जानते हैं, और जो
you lose the respect in it.
you do, है ना. And so then मैंने कहा मैं करूँ क्या करूँ इसका. So what I did in this case was I came out of the cruiser, police cruiser, and उतरते ही मैंने I took out my gun and I gave it to the police, another person. Okay, I gave him the gun, but I had a second gun. So what I did was before getting there, I took his gun. Okay,
Give it back to him only.
Give him the back. So I gave him his gun back. He's thinking कि मेरे पास अब कोई गन नहीं है. So I gave him the gun, and then मेरा मकसद क्या है कि जो डिस्टेंस है ना उसको
कम करना,
इतना करना है. like be close to him because that's the only way for me to communicate. इतनी दूर से मैं वो नहीं कर सकता हूँ. और शुरू में दूसरों में भी करता भी था तो then when I'm communicating then I'll take a step. Then I take a step.
धीरे-धीरे आगे बढ़ना.
धीरे आ गया. तो कभी-कभी बोलते हैं अरे आप how did you get here? उनको पता ही नहीं चला because they were telling their story. In this case, I gave him the gun and he's saying stay back, I'm going to kill myself. मैंने कहा okay, take my gun and I kept walking. Put that gun and everybody move back. Everybody and as I'm saying this मैं उसके पास चलता जा रहा हूँ उसको देख ही नहीं रहा हूँ. But I'm just walking towards him and then I'm 3 feet away from him and he has his knife. सब अदर हल्का चल दूर हो गए. मैंने कहा what's up? तो कहता get this man out of here. I want to kill myself. What do you mean, what's up? So मैंने कहा, why do you want to kill yourself? He goes, my girlfriend. He goes, back up. I said, I can't back up right now. सबको मैंने पीछे कर दिया है. He goes, I need in charge. I said, I'm in charge. He's like, ये पागल आदमी. He's saying, get somebody else. I don't want to talk to him. मैंने कहा, you have no choice. Then I said, I have something, I want to ask you something. Do you really want to kill yourself? He goes, yes. I said, shh, I'm going to help you. I said, you don't put it here, you put it here.
Crazy.
Okay? So what I want you to do, I'm going to count to 3. If you really want to kill yourself, because right now it's 2 o'clock in the morning. You woke me up at 2 o'clock in the morning and they told me this was a big case. And I find out that your girlfriend left you and that's why you kill yourself. I don't care if you want to kill yourself. Because it's like, and his hands start to shake because now, now it's time to what, do or not do. I said, but here's the thing. You kill yourself. I won't tell anybody why you killed yourself. And nobody will know that we're talking like this. They think that I care for you. I don't care for you. I want to go back home. You kill yourself, within half an hour, I'll go back home. Or we can talk about this. What do you want to do? You want to talk about it or you want to kill yourself? Tell me what you want to do. Give people choices. कहता है कि, and then starts, कहता है कि my girlfriend left me. I said, I understand. My girlfriend also left me. What happened? Tell me what happened. And by the way, it's so cold. How are you standing? You have a light jacket. It's very cold. I'm wearing thick jacket. I got no gun or anything like that. Put your knife down. I can talk to you. So he goes, no, I'm not going to put. I said, okay, put your knife like, I just want to make sure that it's not, I said, just put it, like, keep it in your hand, but put it down. Put your hand down. I'm going to be here, no problem. So धीरे धीरे उसने हाथ, I said, your hand must be tired. Put your hand. If I tell people your hands are tired, I am giving them a command that your hands are tired. Put your hand down. Automatically, hand comes down. They don't even know.
That's crazy.
So then I said, I'm going to get a coffee because it's damn cold. Would you like a coffee? And you want to kill yourself afterwards? I don't care. Do you want a coffee? Yes, I do. Okay, here's a coffee. Coffee I. And now 3 feet went into 2 feet. I'm like sitting with them, talking to him, standing there. And I said, what happened? So he told me the whole story. He gave me a girlfriend, blah, blah, blah. And I go, okay, that's fine. मैंने कहा, you have 2 choices. Do you want her to win or do you want her to not win? Because I don't want her to win because she's blah, blah, blah. मैंने कहा, you kill yourself, she will win. I said, tell me about your mother. I didn't know if he has a mother or not. He says, my mother, da, da, da. I said, where is she? He goes, she's at home. I said, here's my phone. I'm going to call your mother. What's her phone number? I called. I was hoping कि 2 बजे सुबह वो लैंडलाइन उठा ले प्लीज. उसने उठाया. मैंने कहा your mother's on the line. Let me just tell her what happened because you don't want. So I went to his mother and said, your son is his girlfriend left and he's distraught. Just tell him that you love him and come home. And I said, your mother wants to talk to you. Mother says, beta, what happened? Son, what happened? My girlfriend, then she said, it's okay. It's okay. She goes, she said, where are you? She said, I'm in an accident. And she said, Beta, are you okay? He goes, yes, I'm okay. He said, Beta, just come home. And then he started crying. I said, and then I took the phone, and at the same time I touched his hand, and I said, just give this to me. Took the knife, and that's basically it. And then, and he goes, these people are going to,
Arrest me or
arrest me, beat me, this and that. I said, nobody's going to do that to you. I said, just come with me. Saved a life. We took him to the hospital to get evaluation done, all that stuff. The next day, I went to see him because I promised him, okay, I'm going to come and see you. I came down, and he's like, oh my God, you came to see me? And I said, yes. I said, I wanted to see your mother. I want to see you. And I said, no woman on the planet is worth your life. No one. So I don't want you to do this ever again. What you did was stupid, right? He goes, yes. He goes, I hurt somebody else because of that. So simple, small thing.
But what happened to this guy later? I'm genuinely curious. I will edit that part from the video because I don't want anybody to know what happened to this guy. I wanted to leave it as a suspense.
Yes.
Now I wanted to ask you, when you do negotiations, right? Negotiation, you have already given me some example of it. Like you were basically negotiating with the person to save his life. That was some part of negotiation. But जब आप किसी business negotiation को करते हो, what sort of verbal cues or facial cues you look at?
I would say for a regular person, the first thing to understand is that we're assuming that we have a system.
मैं ना इसको और थोड़ा सा simple करता हूँ,
ठीक है?
So that people can relate to it more. Let's say you have a product or you have a flat or you have a commercial property or a residential property, say 10 crore की, ठीक है? And you are there to sell me that property. I'm maybe your customer, may not be your customer, and we are sitting, we are talking to each other. What will you do to figure out, and what would be your right strategy to sell me this 10 crore?
Good. Yeah. Number one thing would be that I don't want to sell it to you. You will buy it.
How do you ensure that?
One is you only attract your ideal client who want and need it. I don't want to sell you anything that you don't need. If you don't need a 10 crore property, why would I sell it? They say, sell me this pen. What if I don't need a pen?
Yeah.
Then go home. Let's find somebody who needs the pen.
Right.
So in today's strategy, for example, is very, very simple. There's 4 things in any business that is absolutely necessary. Number 1, attracting the right client. Number 2, selling to those clients. Number 3, over-delivering on your promise. Number 4, building your brand. If you do this, give me any business. I don't care if it's haircut. I don't care if it's real estate. I don't care if it's podcasting. Those 4 things are very, very important. Attracting the right people. I don't want to sell meat to vegetarians. Once they come into my life, they want to buy and I close. Not that I'm, yes, I'm going to use influence and all that, authority and all, but they actually want to buy it, but I don't want to sell them. People don't want to be sold. They want to buy themselves. So that's that second thing. So how do I know that? Think about it this way. I am in a deserted island or somewhere in a desert. It's 40 degrees. Okay, I'm walking and I'm so thirsty. And then as you're walking, I have a stand. That 10 crore rupee flat that you're talking about. I have a stand of water.
Yeah, there is a need.
There's a need and a want too. Maybe he'll take the second one because he thinks he wants to maybe down the road, maybe not get the second one, right? He comes in, he says, I want to buy it. I'm not selling it. I'm selling it, but he's buying it. If you do the right thing by becoming the person who has a system to attract the people that want what you have. Okay? Once they come into your life, then you do what I do as a detective. Ask questions. Ask questions. Why do you want to buy this? What made you call us? What are you looking for? Oh, I'm looking for this and this. And what kind of place are you looking for? Well, I'm looking for this kind of place. This place is not for everybody else. It's only for very exclusive people. 10 crore rupees, very exclusive people. Why do you want it? They're going to tell me why they want it. They're going to close themselves because this and this and this and this. Oh, that's amazing. You know what? Let us know if that's what you want. We have 9 more people wanting that property. And what you do is you do get 9 more people wanting those properties. This is a secret. If you have investors list of 1,000 people and you're selling one thing, you're going to have a lot of people wanting that place.
Yeah.
And then you say, well, you know, this is such a great property.
Scarcity creates more demand.
It does.
Yeah.
And then what I used to do is I say, you want to buy this flat? Come and meet me at the flat. The second person, you want to buy the flat? Come and meet me at the flat. You want to buy this flat? Now they walk in, there's 50 people
Already there.
They're all looking for, oh, what is going on? I said, one of you will be lucky enough to get this. I sold it in seconds sometimes. Ki mere ko do, ego. It's like, nobody will take this house from me. I will take it. Right? I will say, I don't know if I can sell it to you. There's so many other people. How do I know you want it? 50, the 10 crore, I don't need any conditions. I'm ready to go. Are you sure? So, okay, everybody, इन्होंने buy कर लिया है. All of you are on the waiting list. All of you are on the waiting list if he doesn't buy it. That's how you sell. You get so many people interested by doing that. When I started selling real estate, what I did was I said, how do I build a list of 500 people? Build a list of 1,000 people, 5,000 people, 10,000 people.
How?
20,000 people. I had a list of 20,000 people and I would sell 20, 30, 40 in an hour. And the way I built it in those days and the way you can build today are much better today than what I did before. I basically went to every paid real estate event. And I said, can I break bread with the speaker, the people who are VIPs, people who are sitting in the front row? I want everybody's. And then then my team just went in and say, Toronto, this. So if I was in India, I would be like, okay, what's happening in Delhi? What's happening in Mumbai? What's happening in Bangalore? What's happening in this, and then all the city? Is there any real estate events happening? And I only went there if I had to pay. Didn't go to the free ones.
Oh.
More they paid, better it is for me.
Yeah, because you sell high-end homes, obviously.
Because they're more serious.
Yeah.
They're more serious. Yeah. Even I'm guilty of that.
Yeah.
I remember many years ago, somebody gave me a free ticket to a real estate event, and that day was snowstorm. I didn't go. If I had paid, 50,000 rupees, I'd go.
Yeah, of course.
Sorry, there's no refund. I'll go. You'll go. So same thing. What I did was I went to every event that I could go to, and the goal was learn something from the person. But more important goal was to network with the right people by not saying something like, hey, I have a property. Would you like to buy from me? You never do that for networking.
I was going to ask you this. How do you network with people?
You go there and say, hey, what brought you here? What do you need? Tell me more about that. Do you tell me, have you heard about this speaker? Yes. And people will tell you everything. Most people are wanting to speak, not listen. So some of these people are like, oh, and all of a sudden, what do you need? And it's very simple at the end. I said to them, great. You want passive income. That means you're looking for cash flowing properties. Yes. What's the problem with that? Why can't you get them? Oh, I'm looking, for discounted properties. It's tough. I don't have time. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. Great. If I find a property like that, would you like me to let you know about it? I don't have anything right now. Yes.
Even if you do have it right now, you will still say, I don't have it right now.
No. So this is for people who are like, let's say they don't have it. Let's say you have it.
Yeah.
I would say, so if I have a property, you know what? I have a property that might fit what you just said. Would you like my team to tell you about it or reach out to you? And they all said yes, because you're not saying, would you like to buy it? You're just saying, would you like me to
tell you about it?
Tell you about it. Because they already told me that they want it.
Yeah.
So now it's like...
The need is already established.
Yeah. And want established. They want it. And then I would say, would you like me to add you to a VIP list? What's a VIP list? Well, I have a huge list. But the VIP list, they get 24-hour advance notice. Would you like me to add you to the VIP list?
But my question, sorry interrupting. I'm genuinely curious about this. Don't people sometimes feel it's in a way gimmicky that telling them you are on a VIP list? Like people abuse this. How do you make it authentic that it sounds VIP list?
Very good. What happens is, let's say if I have an authority, that's not a problem anymore. People just say, okay, fine. If you have no credibility, then it doesn't matter what you tell them this is gold.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, I don't think it's gold. Okay? And an authority says, this is a real Apple phone. Maybe it's not. People will say, okay, it must be an Apple phone because he said it. Because Amitabh Bachchan said it, then it must be.
Correct.
If Amitabh Bachchan says that this chawal is the best chawal or this chocolate is the best chawal, even though if he doesn't eat it, then it must be.
Yeah.
But then if you don't trust that guy, then it doesn't matter what you tell him.
Yeah.
So so there's a authority that needs to be built in advance.
Very classic example of this in terms of YouTube. I'll give you. So let's say you have a video. For example, we are sitting here and we are releasing this video. Now, if in the video title, I will say top real estate investor says this, example, versus I'll say a real estate investor says this. If I just use the word top in the beginning of the video title, the establishment of the authority has already been there now.
Absolutely.
So you basically position that this is the top guy. He's saying me something. I should listen.
Yes. The main thing about the idea of selling is more, or networking or whatever it is just remembering one thing, and that is who is asking the questions in the conversation. Generally speaking, 99% of people all over the world is the investors with the money asking the questions. I turn that around. That's why I'm successful. I make them feel like the money that you have in your pocket is way less valuable than what I'm going to give you. You need what I have. You want what I have. And if you don't want it, I got so many people who want it.
Yeah.
Okay. I would have people line up. I had people come to me and said, I just want to speak to you. And somebody came to my office. This is 13 years ago. And he said, he was upset. And he said, when he sat in front of me, he said, don't you love me? Don't you like me? I said, of course I do. He said, I thought we were friends. I said, we are friends. He goes, the other flat that you just sold to somebody else, why didn't you give it to me? He's fighting why I didn't sell it to him. So what he did was this. He said, here's $300,000. Put it in your bank account. Leave it in your company's bank account. Next time when you get something like that, you just tell me 24 hours before, you have the money already. Now, imagine did that person have a lot of money? Yes. Did I make him feel like I'm giving him more value? The only reason we exchange dollars or rupees for something is that something is more valuable. That's it. But here's the mental issue. A mental issue for a lot of people here in India is more so than in US and Canada, is that if you have the money, you have the power, and then you dictate how I deal with you. If you turn that around, just think about Apple. It doesn't matter how much money you have, you still have to do the same thing. You go to them, you buy from them, and you don't negotiate. Say, this is what it is. 1 lakh rupees. Okay, well then that's what I pay. And then you have to pay for accessories and all that. They are the brand. They provide you what you want, not necessarily what you need. More money is made from want than need.
How do you differentiate between need and want?
This phone, I can buy it for 10,000 rupees.
That's my need.
That's my need because I need a phone.
Yeah.
Do I need 12, 13 times more phone? No. That's a want.
I want it.
I want it. It's ego. It's status. It's I want the best. Now there is a segment that I don't go after, which is the need segment. I'm not looking for. So if somebody says, "Oh, I have 10 lakh rupees, some in Gaon, there's a little 20 lakh rupee house," and I'm not going to get into that business. I don't want to deal with those clients because that's not my niche. That's so same thing with the phone guys. They're like, okay, Apple is up here and then we have somebody in between and somebody at the low end. We all have clients. Whether so the marketing part is very simple. If I'm selling this juice, am I selling it on the street? Am I selling it in a store? Am I selling it at the mall? Am I selling it at the 5-star?
It's a classic 4 Ps, out of which one is placement.
Yeah. And then if I'm selling it up here, then I'm only going to talk to people who should be coming here. Not people here. If I talk to them, they're going to think these people are stupid, paying so much more. People up here who are wealthy, they're going to say, I'm not going to drink over there. That's not my, no, not for me. They're willing to pay more. They're willing to pay less. So the need is basically, the way to establish that is that, can you buy the same thing basically without the brand name? Maybe it's a better quality, but can I buy it for cheaper? And is price point my unique selling proposition, that you get the cheapest, not the best, but the cheapest? So if you want to buy a golf shirt like this, can I buy it for a lot cheaper? Answer is yes. So the person who buys Armani doesn't want to buy that. That's what it is. So your entire business system, attracting the right clients, selling to the right clients, over delivering, building your brand, depends on who are your clients.
Yeah. So how do you over deliver? That's what I intended to ask you.
Very good question. I find that most people promise and they actually don't even deliver what they promise. And so it's not good enough to deliver what you promise. You give them something more that they didn't expect. So if I was to say, okay, I'm going to give you this product, and then they bought that product, they agree with the price and everything like that. With this, maybe I'll give them something extra that doesn't cost me a lot of money, but it's kind of valuable for you, but you never expected it. Same thing with my coaching or something like that. I would say, this is what you get, and they sign, and then after they sign, and I say, what do you need? They go, you know what? I would love for you to come and see me. I'm like, you know what? Usually I don't do this, but I will come and see you at your place. You can, use my branding for your company. Maybe that's going to be extra. Oh, you know what? Usually I don't do this, but I have a friend who is actually looking for your product. Why don't I just make the introduction? Let's start with that. So start with a bang. It's like, oh my God, it's like already starting. I'm already making money from this guy. So it's something that you don't negotiate, something you're going to give them. And sometimes it's only for them. In my world of, when it's high paying clients, let's call them, or investors. If they bought a house, throw in a TV if they didn't expect it. If everybody's throwing in a TV, then it won't work.
Yeah.
But if nobody's expecting that, and they thought they got the best deal, everything was awesome, they're happy, and then they walk in with a big present with you, So today, when I was thinking of giving you a gift, I'm like, I don't like the bag, the bag that they gave me. I don't like the bag. I'm like, what do? I bought you a laptop bag so that I can put the books inside to gift it to you.
Yeah.
So that's a slight over delivering that most people won't do.
And me on the other side have nothing to give you.
That's okay. You're adding massive value to the world by doing what you're doing. You're really needed right now because this thing that you're doing with podcast, you have so many people who follow you. You're adding massive value to them by having me around and having people like me do that. So you're already doing good. The gift is not given based on if I give you a gift and then wanting the gift back from you or something. No, that is not what I do it for. And I also think that gift should be given because you want to give, not by obligation. Right.
Yeah.
So the point of over delivering is, okay, I have this bag that I don't like, but I want to give him a good gift. Oh, by the way, in that bag, there's Swiss chocolates that I put in there for you guys.
Oh,
So-
crazy.
So, yeah. So please enjoy
Thank
those.
you.
You're welcome. Those I bought from Canada.
Yeah.
So nobody expected that, right?
Yeah.
But
I didn't, at least.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I put it in there for you because the starting point of relationship has to be by giving.
I'll tell you something over here. Might not be as meaningful as what you do, but reason I have a massive following on LinkedIn, At one point, I was doing 100 million views on LinkedIn. Only because of this principle
Tell me.
is that I give first.
Yeah.
In fact, in all my webinars across sales and marketing that I also do on LinkedIn, my number one principle was give first.
That's right.
For example, if you are a customer or a potential customer, you message me on LinkedIn that, hey, I'm looking for this and this. I'll ask you. And this is the reason I was asking you so many questions, because this relates to me more.
Sure.
I'll ask you, okay, what do you need? And they will tell me, hey, I'm looking for something that can automate my sales.
Yes.
I tell you, you know what? We don't do this. I'll not try forcefully sell you this, but I recommend you these three things or these three softwares, which I believe are very, very amazing,
Very good.
cost effective.
Very good.
And I've personally used one of them. I believe this will add a lot of value to you.
Good.
And this is something that they were not expecting, that
Yes.
I'll go out of the way and help them and not forcefully sell something that I'm not selling. This is the reason I've got to almost the number that I've quoted you without spending zero money on marketing.
Good for you. Very good. I'm very proud of you, and this has to be eternal since the human beings came on this planet.
Yeah.
Is that you are on this planet to give first. And that is the starting point of any relationship, not because of a strategy, but this is the right thing to do. And then the money and the business is a byproduct.
Yeah.
It's a byproduct. And that is the important aspect of it. Second thing is that you should never, ever worry about or say, in my view, that I'm not trying to sell you. You should say, I am trying to sell you.
Yeah.
Okay? Because selling equals serving. So
If you look at it that way. Yeah.
this is the only way to look at it. This is
Majority of the people don't. That's the
they
problem.
don't. And we are not majority.
Yeah.
We are the minority. Crazy, abnormal people are the one that change the world,
Yeah.
not normal people.
Yeah.
We are not normal people. So
Yeah.
that's what I want you to do.
But what makes you abnormal? Abnormal word is a very harsh word. Sorry.
No,
If
it's
that
not.
if that makes you feel bad.
Abnormal word, when I'm on big stages, I actually say normal word is a gali.
And why do you say that?
Because normal people, you put 100 people in the room right now,
Yeah.
off the street, and then look at their results.
Yeah.
Do I want that result?
No?
So then that's normal.
Yeah.
I don't want normal. No, there's no normal human being on the planet that did something big.
What is it that you do that makes you abnormal? Or how do you go to that stage of being an abnormal?
Well, there's always going to be a different age group. Like if I was in my 20s, I'm basically saying, okay, just make me money. I just want to sell. I want to make money. Then I'm in 30s. I'm like, you know what? It makes good sense that maybe I should have a long-term relationship with the people that I'm selling and care about what they're doing. But I still care about me selling first to me. And as you go into your 40s and 50s and all that, so you realize that's such a silly thing. You just go in with the world and say, what does he want? Give it to him. I know it sounds like so simple. Zig Ziglar talks about it. He says, to become rich, you have to serve as many people as possible, which means you have to sell. And we talk about selling as if it's a bad thing.
Yeah.
We say it subconsciously, by the way. I'm not trying to sell you. I'm not a salesperson. Yes, you are. Everybody's a salesperson.
Yeah.
But are you ethical salesperson? And what is ethical salesperson? Ethical salesperson is that if you don't get, you really believe deep down that if you don't get my product, you're losing out. That you feel so compelled that you are actually doing something wrong when you don't sell it. Selling equals serving.
Yeah.
And saying that I don't sell means I'm not serving.
And equals problem solving.
Yeah, problem solving is the way to sell.
Yeah.
But the mental picture that you must have is that I am doing you a favor by
Yeah.
you getting my stuff.
Yeah.
That is really the way to do it.
Yeah.
Okay? Hey, investor, you have money. I have a real estate project. You want to invest with me. I'm doing you a favor. And my goal would be when I'm persuading and doing a lot of stuff, to say, if this guy says, I have 1 crore rupees, I want to make 20% ROI on 1 crore rupees, I don't have time. I want the right person. I want trustworthy sources. I want a good project. I want a good location. And I have all of them. Okay? It becomes my duty to make sure you buy, that you invest. And if you don't invest, I feel bad for you because I know that's what you wanted. Not that you wanted this.
But I'm selling you this. Yeah.
It's not good.
Yeah.
It's not good. You cannot sell meat to vegetarians. You should not do it. It should not. And that's a pretty opposite example. But if you keep that in mind, am I selling meat to vegetarians? Even if I say, meat is 20% off, 50% off today. I don't care. I'm vegetarian. I don't care. But the vegetarian, like if you have something that's going to help me with my life, with my growth, with my income, with my health, with my weight, and you have it, it's your duty to sell it to me in a way that I want it. And I want it now, not tomorrow. There's 2 viruses for business entrepreneurs, real estate investors, anybody who wants to be successful. 100 times worse than COVID. Virus number 1, I can't afford it. Virus number 2, I'll do it some other day. And it's your job to make sure that somebody who needs and wants your stuff, that's going to start adding value from the moment that they buy, it becomes your duty to make sure that how can they afford it and do it today. Otherwise, chances are we die with that dream.
You give me Wolf of Wall Street vibe. Totally. But, you raised a point in the middle of the conversation that in India, it's different. In Canada, it's different when you sell to people.
Yes.
Right? India में क्या problem होती है? When you tell them, hey, it's not for you. Like, how do they take it?
Bigger ego.
Yeah.
Bigger ego. And ego is compared to their mind or their version of their success. Meaning what they believe it is. So if somebody...
Give me an example. Like, maybe not by revealing the name of the person.
Of course not. But what I'm thinking is, if somebody who has 1 crore rupees only, but he in his mind thinks I made 1 crore and I'm a big guy, right? So the ego could be how dare you say that you have to qualify me, right? For example, somebody with 100 crore may not have that ego. And they may say, I'm going to go from 100 to 1,000 crore and I need your help. And they might be humble. So in India, sometimes it's harder for successful people in their mind to actually think, wow, what do you mean? You're going to qualify me? I'm the investor. I have the money. You're not going to sell it to me? One person, एक ने मेरे को बोला कि आपके पास दुकान है, आपके पास प्रोडक्ट है, आप बोल रहे मेरे को सेल नहीं करना है आपको, राइट? आई सेड मेरे को सेल करना है, पर अगर वो प्रोडक्ट जो मेरे पास है वो आपके लिए सही हो तो, नहीं तो आपके पैसे खराब हो जाएंगे. एंड ही इज लाइक, मैंने कभी सुना ही नहीं है ये. लाइक ही इज लाइक, आई डोंट बिलीव दिस. एंड आई सेड सो ही गोस, पर आपको कैसे पता चलेगा? मैंने कहा वेरी गुड क्वेश्चन, हियर्स अ फॉर्म, फिल इट आउट. And
how do you deal with these people?
It's very simple. I just say we had people all the time fill out a form, and at the end we say thank you for filling out the form, and what we have is not the right fit for you. But here's what you can do. Mr. Tulsiani has written a book, and we're going to gift you a book. Okay, and you may go to this person. They might be more suited for you. Now, sometimes that is even worse for them because they're like, "Mere se nahi aa, usse lo." It's like, why do I want to take from him? I want to take from, like, So then I tell them, okay, in order for you to do this, you're here right now. You have to come here before I can consider this. So, let's say if I say, okay, he says, okay, I want to sell 100 flats. And आपने 2 flat बेची हैं पूरी जिंदगी में. And you want me to help you with that. I said, okay, go sell 20 flats first. Okay. When you sell 20 flats, then because right now आपने कितना कमाया? मैंने पिछले महीने 50,000 कमाया. कितना कमाना चाहते हो? 50 crore. I'm like, okay, there's a big gap right now.
5
Okay.
करोड़ तक आओ पहले.
पहले आओ. So ऐसा करो, कुछ करो. So so sometimes I'll say to my young kids who will come in and say, I want to do this, this, this. I say, great. 6 महीने तक go out and work out every day. Like, work out. मैं workout क्यों करूँ? Like, I want to make money. And I say, you're 22. Okay. And I want to see if you can do this. I said, I'll pay for it. I'll pay for your workout. So you pay first, you go there every day. Once you do it, I'll pay for it. I'll pay for 6 months. Okay? And the day that you don't do it, deal is off. So if you can't do this small stuff, you're not going to do big stuff. So same thing with the what do you call it? Successful people. There's this ego. Not everybody, because there are some amazing people everywhere in the world and in India who are humble, who are like, I met Crorepatis. They don't look like Crorepatis, multi-Crorepatis. They don't look like it. You see them on street. They actually on purpose don't look like it. Maybe they're going in auto, right? And then, so that's the one side. They are so rich, but they are so frugal that it doesn't look like that they don't enjoy their life from my point of view. You look at their shoes, you look at, it doesn't make sense to me that they would live, but that's all they want to do. They want to eat. They want to buy from the streets. They want to eat food on the street. They're happy with that. And then on the other hand, somebody who's not as rich, but they are like, they're wearing every brand, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with you enjoying the quality of a brand or quality of a car and all that stuff. I have no problems with that. If that's what you want, you should have that brand because it makes you feel good first. And if there's a secondary benefit of people looking up to you and all that, that's secondary benefit. So in my case, when I look at somebody who has an attitude, I think if there's one word that I would say that people should work on is their attitude. Because attitude changes everything. If your best friend that you knew for 20 years all of a sudden changes attitude towards you and started to disrespect you and start to say something about your family and about you, there's nothing changed, just the attitude. You will change. That relationship will change. If a husband is so amazing, but then he comes in all of a sudden, or wife has an attitude, all of a sudden that relationship is not going to last long. It's the attitude. So my suggestion to everybody here is it doesn't matter how rich you become, whether you live in India or anywhere else, just stay humble. Just remember, especially if you didn't come from money. And if you came from money, I know it's harder for you. If you came from money, it's harder for you to stay humble because but check with your attitude. Am I polite? Am I, am I yelling and screaming in a normal circumstances? Do I feel that I earned to yell at people? Like, it's me, it's my position. So therefore, you shall do what I say. Check in with you whether you talk like that to people because you're successful. Like, do you have your nose up in the air all the time? Do you look at that people like that? Do you when you go to a beggar, do you throw the money like this, like you don't respect the money, or you don't respect them, or do you hand it to them? Right? What do you do? And if you do that, there's nothing wrong. You can change today by doing the opposite. Everybody's going to love you. Attitude can actually, there's no 99.9999% of people, everything will change if the attitude changes. There must be some Sant and Mahatma, maybe they don't care. But if somebody, even if your mother, your father, your brother, one day starts to come in and call you names and call you, demean you in front of other people. Your wife comes in, calls a lot, and she's amazing. She's been, you know what? You're not going to last long with them. So it's attitude. So if you're rich, check in with your attitude. Am I, when I walk around, people, when they see me on YouTube or on stages, and then they'll see me like in a mall. They're like, you look like every day. You're like a normal, like,
Yeah.
and when I greet them, I'm not like, okay, you're here, I'm there. No, people have consistent basis. And this is not done as strategy. It's who I am.
Yeah.
Who I am, right?
You can't fake it.
No,
Yeah.
not for long term.
Yeah, of course.
You know?
You can't fake it for long term.
Yeah, short term, maybe.
6 months top, maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. But people will catch the reason I have become a top international speaker that has gone with like people like Tony Robbins and Grant Cardone and Abhishek Bachchan and all those people with thousands of people, a stadium full of people, is that when I get on the stage, it's all authentic. It's all authentic. When you come from heart, people actually love and respect you because they know that you're there for them. And that is exactly why I'm there for, is to, at the end of the day, to inspire. I've inspired so many people that never paid a penny to me. But when they come to me and they meet me somewhere and they go in a different words, but basically the message is always, you changed my life. And that is what I live for these days. This is really the highest level of pay. Yes, I like money. I like to grow and all that. No questions about that. But this common denominator theme has been for the last decade or more, you changed my life. And I used to think, me? I changed your life? I thought maybe somebody else can do it, not me. Some other rich people should do the eye operations, not me. I'm just like, I'll go to Mandir, put some money in, be happy, donate once in a while here or there. That's what I should do, right? I never thought I would become who I become. But people are pointing out to me this stuff. And I'm like, oh, I never thought that was a big deal, to talk to people nicely. I didn't think that was a big deal. I never did. And now more and more people are like, even in Canada and United States, people are like, man, you're so humble. I'm like, this is who I am. But the thing is, when I was not successful and I sat on the floor, nobody cared. If I'm successful and I, sit on the floor, they're like, oh my God, this guy's so humble. But then what I'm trying to tell you is that
I can imagine. I can understand that part. Yeah.
But I don't do it because the way it looks. I do it because I do it, and then people tell me that you did it. I'm like, oh, I guess I did it. And then repetition. So many people. People come to me. Like I remember being in a mall. People come to me, and this women start. I had my headphones. Usually, what I do is if I go with a family member or something like that, there's only a certain period of time I can stay in a mall or shopping. I just, it's not. I'm just hunter, basically. Go, get it, and come back. But then
Same here.
others are, especially women, if I have to generalize it, they're window shoppers, right?
I bought 20 clothes yesterday in 5 minutes.
I believe you.
Yeah.
I believe you. And for me, so when I go with the friends and they're, especially like female family members or something like that, I have my headphones. I'm listening to a podcast. Okay. So anyways.
Do they know?
They know. Okay. I tell them, like, I'll give you half an hour.
Tops.
That's my basically, sometimes, if it's my mother or something, maybe an hour. But it's not the time, it's the purpose. That I see that they're missing. Like I'm like, okay, you tried on 20 of them, you liked all 20 of them, and then you put all 20 of them back. I'm like, please just buy one at least. Lage to sahi kuch kaam kar rahe hain. And then they're like, no, we're gonna restart another store.
Maybe you'll find something better.
Maybe. I'm like, okay. I can't even, like, where's the sofa? Like, first thing I go to the mall, in a store, I'm like, do they have sofa?
Do they have a chair to sit? Yeah.
Yeah. And the smart departmental store have a sofa because, if they get me to sit there, then chances are she's going to buy, right?
Yeah.
If not, So anyways, long story short, this lady came to me and said, in the mall, and she said, and then I took my earbuds off and I said, what? She goes, you changed my life. I'm like, oh, what happened? She goes, my husband came to your seminar 8 years ago and we were struggling. I had a child and we were fighting all the time because she had to work. The wife has to work. The husband has to work. They have 2 kids in the morning. They're getting up. They're picking up their kids, throwing them in the car, taking to some sort of a place where, they're taking care of the children in the evening, coming home. And then they're picking up the kids in the evening, coming back home, husband and wife fighting, blah, 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 and all that stuff. She says, what happened was my husband came to your seminar. He made over $1 million in 3 years after that. I don't know who they are. They never bought anything other than my book or something like that. They came to us. And she said, I've been trying to get hold of you, but whatever. I said, okay. And she said, they're here. Can I please bring them? I said, yeah, sure. So those 2 kids, husband, and they're like, they had tears in their eyes. And I said, I don't, they said, I didn't know who they were, So the main purpose of that is that I get to recognize that I don't even know the impact. You don't even know the impact for your podcast, by the way. You may have some people comment, but you don't know how many people are being impacted.
I remember one story. I mean, I went to Canada.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
When?
I went to Canada
Where?
last year in October.
Where?
Canada, I went to Vancouver, I went to Calgary, and then Banff,
Okay, got it.
and then
wanna
Toronto, Montreal.
You did go to Toronto?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
So many places. I went to US, I went to Canada, I went to Mexico. So I remember a story, a subscriber, when he got to know that I'm traveling to Canada, he was like, I want to meet you. And I was like, why? Like, what? Am I really that? Like something meaningful that I've done for you? Like you wanted to travel 4.5 hours to meet me. And this guy came, brought his dad with him for almost 4.5 hours of drive of one side, and just for 15 minutes to meet with me. And he told me that he loved my episode so much.
So good.
And I was like, the kind of, feeling that you have, I was like, dude, why did you drive 4.5 hours? And I felt so bad in a way that the meeting was supposed to be for like 15 minutes. I spent 1.5 hours just because I felt bad.
Felt that,
कि यार ये बंदा इतनी दूर से आया यार और मैं 15 मिनट बैठूंगा, मुझे शर्म आनी चाहिए. So I sat with him, discussed his business, like what he can do better in his business, and maybe helped him out, did some introductions. And I felt that there is an obligation for me or something that I have to do to ensure that the 8 hours he's spending in his driving
Yes.
should be worth.
Yeah, he invested his time.
Yeah, and I feel
invested
bad,
time,
like
yeah.
कि मैं कुछ नहीं कर पाया उसके लिए कि मतलब
But don't feel bad. You did do a lot.
yeah, maybe.
No. There's no maybe. But you have to believe deep down in your heart.
Yeah.
We have no tries or maybes. We have either yes or no. Either you do or you don't do it. I believe that if you believe that you're so valuable and God is adding massive value to other people through you, and He has chosen you in this type of method where you're adding value, and you start believing that you are actually doing God's work, your business will change to massive levels. Whether you're doubting yourself, well, why does he want to see me? No, I think you should say to yourself, you know what? I must have added massive value to this guy in order for him to drive 9 hours, plus pay for his gas, plus do all the expenses and all that stuff. I must have done something. Thank you, God. Shift your mindset completely from that point of view. If you see that the God has chosen his journals, managers, okay? And then below that, there's other people, okay? You're a manager. You're doing God's work. And if you are fulfilled in a way where you believe you're doing God's work, you're going to do better work. If you believe maybe I did it, maybe I should have. Humble does not mean that you don't acknowledge your work, but it does not mean that you put it into people's faces, right? See, today we have in this podcast, we talked about a little bit of our journey, talked about a little bit of success, but we're not saying, like this. That's not what we're saying. But your cup has to be full before you can feed others. Okay? And it is selfish for you to not actually acknowledge in a good way, selfish good way, that you're actually doing big work. Because when you are doing that, you will value it. And when you value you more, then the people will value you more, and then you have a bigger impact.
I'll ask you one more thing.
Sure.
I mean, out of all the lot of things that I wanted to ask you, there is one more thing. Now that we are on the subject of ego and everything else, I can't ego lift anyone. For example, you being such a stature, sitting across with me, and I'm genuinely feeling nobody. I can't still somehow, whoever is sitting in front of me, and a lot of good people have, sat on this chair.
Sure.
I could never ego lift anyone. Like I will treat them the way they are, just a regular human being. For example, you charge 1 crore for just a consulting, but I can't never see that in you. Like I see the crazy amount of work that you're doing, and how much you obviously be adding value. But when I look at you, I look at a regular human.
Yes.
Is it good or a bad thing?
It's there's a confidence level, and then you hit this, becomes ego, and it's bad, right? There's like that. So everything has that line. Now, if you have mother, right?
Yeah.
She's crossing the road. She's about to get hit by a truck. I come in and I save her. You come and see me. Do you look at me the same way?
Not at all.
Not at all, right?
Yeah.
So is it bad to recognize somebody's success because they have added value to people?
Not at all.
Not at all. So is that ego lifting?
Not at all.
Okay, so good. So what I'm suggesting to you is that every human being is the same, but not every human being adds the same value. And if somebody adds more value, it's up to us to recognize that they have added that extra value, and you're not ego lifting. Now there is a point where you come to that line where you're basically you're not being genuine. Okay, you're just saying it because of what. But if I met some athlete that I know that they worked so hard and I idolize them, and I meet them, it's okay for you to say, wow, what an amazing work you do. You inspired me for this. And I'm so humble that you're sitting in front of me, somebody like that. It's so important to do that. It's very important to do that. If I meet Prime Minister Modi, if I meet Amitabh Bachchan, why not tell them that? Because, they are same human beings, but they have added more value than you and I. The doctor who sees 200 patients a month adds value to those 200 people. Amitabh Bachchan adds value as an entertainment to millions of people. That's why he's more successful. So if somebody's that much successful and you admire them, like you generally like them, and like, don't be shy to tell them that. Because why? Because if you did something for me and you don't know, and I meet you, and if I don't tell you, that's a disservice to you.
Yeah.
Right? That's a disservice to you. So I would say to you, if you change a little bit, not to the point of, making them feel like, oh, you're amazing, you're God and all that stuff. No. But if they did something and you checked out their work, and or whatever it is, you should tell them, this is what I like about that. I'm so glad that I can't believe you did that. Can you tell me a little bit more about that? Tell them that.
Okay, I'm so glad we talked because I loved your insights on sales.
Thank you.
Because one of the reason I love it is because me being a hardcore salesperson myself.
Good.
And I could relate to it. Like I could see the passion that you follow. I could see why by changing just the narrative, the entire perception can change.
That's right.
The entire philosophy of selling things can change. The entire outcome of that relationship can change. Everything is all about the narrative. I mean, the way you convey these narratives is mind-blowing. It's amazing.
Thank you.
And this is also of the fact because you have told me to say it.
Yes, I get
That's
it.
the reason I'm sending you right away
Thank you.
to acknowledge that, the coaching that you did for me. I'm being coached.
They say the best leaders are best mentees, and best mentees are best leaders, and then cycle goes on and on. So we're always a mentor to somebody and mentee to somebody.
Yeah.
I would say there's a point where you are respecting them rather than ego lifting, as you said.
Yeah.
So when you respect, if I meet a Buddha or if I meet a monk or I respect that because they've done something amazing,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, of course.
So we do that. So I think the best thing that I can share with you as we finish off is that you're on this planet to serve, and you cannot serve if you can't sell. And if you can't sell, they hire people who can. And only sell the product that you genuinely believe is good for them.
Yeah, of course, 100%.
And real estate is the same thing. It's people say real estate or entrepreneurship. Well, actually, it's under the umbrella of entrepreneurship. That's just real estate is just a product. It's just a product.
Correct.
Today, if I want to do no money down in real estate in India, just look at Shark Tank. What is the concept? I have the idea. Sharks got the money. Combine it.
Yeah.
Same thing. Real estate, same thing.
Yeah.
Somebody's got all the money. You found a good deal. Now you're
Combine it.
partners.
Yeah. I still wanted to ask you so many things.
Go ahead.
So,
I'm thinking this is going longer than normal, but I
it's
guess
okay.
we're enjoying.
It's cool.
Okay.
As long as you're cool with it. Yeah.
I'm good.
So, if anybody wants to get into real estate business
Yes.
in India,
Yes.
right? And there are two circumstances now. A, they have money. B, they don't have money. Let's talk about someone who doesn't have that much of money and still want to make big. Maybe not in short term, but in a long term, 5-10 years down the line. What do they do? How do they begin?
So let's talk about the people with no money down. This has become my like a unique teaching all over the world about because I actually did that first year, and I bought and sold 77 properties the first year when I had no connections. I had little money. It's not that I had no money. I had little money. Nobody knew me. I had no sales, marketing, nothing like that. So basically, the first concept I'll talk about is that you go in and learn one thing and one thing only, which is how to find discounted properties in an area that is happening. Now, it happens discounted and or cash flowing properties. So those are two different things. Cash flowing property may not be discounted, and but it could be discounted and cash flowing. The discounted property may not cash flow, but it's discounted. So somebody who has no money, for example, is basically a matchmaker, just like a real estate dealer or whatever. But the difference between real estate dealer and him is that they actually specialize in actually caring for their investors by giving them a real, genuine deal. 1 crore property, let's say everybody's buying for 1 crore, and you can get it for 70 lakh rupees, put 10 lakh rupees in it. Now it's at par. Now you're 20% below market value. And so you become the person who learns how to do that. So what I did was I took a course from a guy named Robert Allen.
Yeah.
He charged me $5,000, and his entire course is all about no money, how to do that. So that's one of the ways. How do you negotiate? Now, you don't find, no human being on the planet says, I have a 1 crore rupee property, I want to sell it for 70 lakhs. No one does that. It's the circumstances. It's always learning how to find the circumstances. Hey, I'm stuck. I lost my job. I'm thinking of putting money into my business. I don't have the cash flow, whatever. How do you find these people? How do you attract motivated sellers into that divorce, where they're fighting? How do you actually attract them? And then how do you go to them and say, they don't care. They just take my property. I hate him or I hate her or whatever. Or it's ugly property and nobody wants to fix it. They don't have time to fix it. So then you go in. But so if somebody, like I'm going to be at the event when I'm going to be teaching about this stuff, which is, okay, you find a discounted property and then you find somebody like me who says, I don't have time, but I want a good deal. So people say, what's the difference between that and agent? The agents are like, is 1 crore property, buy it for 1 crore or 1.5 crore, even more. So that's
99% of agents are like this.
Of course.
Yeah.
And that's what I also say.
And that's why they don't sit across the table to talk about what they do.
Yeah. The thing is, it's not their fault too. This is their business, agents. But if somebody's a real estate agent, I would tell them to do the same thing. I would tell them, look, figure out what does your client want and genuinely help them. Okay? Don't say, most agents, like you said, will say, okay, should I buy in Noida? And he's from Noida. He'll say, yes. And then if he's in Noida, he says, should I buy in Gurugram? Yes. Should I buy in Delhi? Yes. Should I buy in Bangalore? Yeah. Like they'll say yes to anything if he can sell it.
Yes.
Okay? So we don't want that. You should genuinely say, well, I think, you should buy in this area because of these fundamentals, whatever. So as an investor, You take this property, you do this, and then you say, okay, I'm going to sell this property that's 70 lakh rupees for 75 lakh rupees to me. So he makes 5 lakh rupees because he found a good deal. Okay. And now I take it. He doesn't have to get a mortgage. He doesn't have to register. He has to do nothing. I'm doing everything. Fine. Option 2, he finds a good deal. He comes to me and he says, I have scored through 20 properties, 50 properties, and I found a gem. And I want to be your partner. I don't want to sell it to you. I don't want you to pay me anything. I want to do it. And now from here, this property requires fix up. This property requires this. And then we're going to rent it or we're going to flip it, whatever the exit strategy is. And let me show you that this property is going to be worth 1.25 crore after I fix it. I add this, I add that, I upgrade this, whatever. It'd be 1.25 crores. And we're going to sell this property in 3 months. And I will do all the work. You can be passive, 100%. I'll sell the property. The first money that you put in, 100% of the money comes to you. So if we don't make any profits, that money comes to you. I make no profit. I do 6 months of work. I make no profits. But when we sell it and there is 50 lakh rupee profit, you take 25 lakhs, I take 25 lakhs. You do nothing, like a Shark Tank. I do all the work. And that is what became my passion, was to joint ventures. It was so fun and much fun for me because selling a property for a percentage or two, it made me happy for a short period of time. But then when I did the partnerships, we're talking about 3 years later, it was 100% ROI. Some of the properties we did, we bought them below market value. In 2 years, it went up 100% ROI. And people were, and then it was only one time that I did that. I would have lined up with people with money. Why? Because the way you present the information package to an investor is that their 50% is what is the ROI on their money. If they made 30% ROI after paying you, they only care about their ROI. Okay? And then the second thing is, how do I know you're not going to run away with my property? Well, it's going to be under your name. Oh, so I can't even run away. I'll do all the work, can't run away. It's going to be under your name. Okay. How do I know it's a good property? Let me show you. This area. This house sold for 1 crore. This house sold for 1.1. I'm buying for 70 lakhs. It's a good deal. Oh, so we teach them how to do sold comparables. It's like this pen, same pen, is 1 rupee. This pen, I get it 50 cents. Well, 50 pesos. Well, then this is a good deal. And all I did was I found these investors. Now, where did I find them? I went to events where it was paid. More they paid,
the better it is.
The more I paid, the better it is for me.
Yeah. But I want to ask you this. When in Canada, the process of finding these properties must be different. Of course, the way you do that, the way you do the due diligence, the background checks would be very different and perhaps maybe more transparent also.
It is more transparent
Right?
in North America.
But in India, it's very difficult to figure out who is dealing, who is selling, and on top of that, whether the information that it is around the property is genuinely correct or not. How do you figure that out in India?
Number one is to know that 99.9% of information that you get from dealers is not accurate. Doesn't matter what they look like, what they say. Secondly, when you get your information, it must be independent of that dealer.
And how do you collect that?
So for example, if you're thinking, like if I was hunting for a good property, I would go to the builder, I would go to the neighbors, and I'll go to other people and say, when did you buy this property? Oh, I bought it 2 months ago. How much did you buy it for? Some will tell me, some won't tell me.
Yeah.
And say, well, I'm thinking of buying
Even if they tell you, they may inflate the number.
Of course they may.
Yeah.
Of course
Because they
may.
want that property now to be perceived at this price.
Higher level, right? And so is there a government agency in India where they record how much the property was sold for?
Yeah.
Okay.
But the problem is,
And I understand the other part.
we may not be able to talk about it here,
Yes.
but you know the difference.
Yes.
Like,
So it's harder in India.
Yeah.
But if I am in business or if I'm getting into business, getting your feet wet and walking that area, knowing that area with multiple independent sources will give you some idea that, okay, if I say, okay, fine, this is a building, brand new building, developer is selling it for this much or this much. The next building, this building is a little higher quality, so then prices you have. Now you take that in common denominator, like, okay, I know per square foot cost is approximately this much. You don't know exactly, but you know it is. Now you established per square footage cost is 10,000 rupees on an average, 9 to 11,000. Somebody sells it for 6,000. It's pretty easy. But don't go to your agent and say, you give me all the information and I will just blindly say, fine, I'll take it. That's what it is. So people will know, the investors will know, by the way, and you will know that in Noida or in Gurgaon or in Delhi, in this area, approximate price is this much. You know it.
Correct.
You just know it. And you know it's a good deal or not because it's like you going to a mall. 20% off. Who makes 20% off? Well, yesterday it was 1,000 rupees. Today is 20% off. People run to save 20% on buying stuff they don't need or want. But when it comes to real estate, they just blindly go, generally speaking, to a builder or agent, and they say, this is the price, few percentage here and there, and they hope the price will go up. Right? And that's the majority of the Indians' way of their knowledge of real estate is basically this: new projects coming up, I'm gonna book it, wait for 5 years, hopefully it goes up in value.
Yeah. The hopefully part is the biggest part. That is the problem.
And today in 2025, the world is not the same. U.S., Canada, other parts of the world, economy and what's happening in the world is going to impact India
Real estate.
and India. You know, and so there's the emotion part that India is growing and everything is, which it is, and is doing much better than before, no questions. I mean, all I have to do is drive around and I can see, you know, the improvement that India has had in the last decade or so. It's been
What
especially
what
roads,
sort of improvement do you think?
like roads. We talked about the police. I really feel the police have changed. When I come through the immigration these days, you know, it's a lot smoother, automated, pretty easy to do. Mostly because of the internet and everybody has a phone, so it's easier, you know. But the point is, it has improved. Even the police department, even the tax department, even immigration and all, they have improved. Now, do they have a play? You know, can they improve? Of course. But it's, you know, I remember coming through immigration 25 years ago, 30 years ago, and it was like really pain to go through Indian immigration. They would just basically open up your stuff and you have nothing, and they will say something like, you know, you can't have that now. How do you argue? Some guy told me you can't in train. Then I was a police officer at that time, and we're going in train. Then the police comes in and he goes, आपके पास dollars हैं? I said yes. Say allowed नहीं है यहाँ पे इंडिया में.
क्यों?
Because it's illegal. अब उससे argue कर रहा हूँ. मैंने कहा, what do you mean? Dollars, like I exchange dollars at the hotels. It's normal. He goes, नहीं, dollars illegal है, बिल्कुल illegal है. And then he goes, अच्छा इसके अंदर कोई शराब वगैरह है क्या? I said yes. I bought 2 bottles, which I'm allowed. Like I bought Johnny Walker.
Yeah.
And he goes, नहीं, train में allowed नहीं है. I said, I'm in Delhi. I'm going to this place. I'm going by train. What do you mean? He goes, country में allowed है.
ट्रेन में अलाउड नहीं है.
ट्रेन में allowed नहीं है. तो ऐसा करो, एक दे दो मेरे को.
तो अलाउड हो जाएगी.
तो allowed है. So that has changed.
Yeah.
That has changed.
Yeah.
I've never had that to face this. Immigration, I don't have to face this. The roads are amazing, you know, in comparison to what they were before. The flyovers, the highways, they have changed a lot. Even my town, when we used to go there, the roads was more holes than the road itself for years. And now it's like beautiful.
But do you think if India and Pakistan goes to war, real estate will have a effect?
Of course, it will have an effect.
What happens? Like, how do you investors sitting in Canada, US, how do they look at this situation of India versus Pakistan war?
I think any country where there's a uncertainty, there's actually a war. Even people in India and other places, when there's a fear, people will back off. In fact, they might even do worse, which is to just say, just sell my stuff
Sell.
before it goes too low. Okay. Then you have your real estate, and you have stock market, then you have economy, where the business layoffs and all that. They will all get impacted. No questions about that. So I remember I was doing a project in Toronto, and somebody says, what if Al Qaeda strikes CN Tower? Would the real estate go down? I said, yes. It goes down. It's just the way it is.
Yeah.
Because a lot of it is emotions. Why does the stock market? Why does the same bank stock that you own for years that's doing so well, and then market goes down and everybody sells it? It makes no sense. It's like you going to the mall, and then, let's say you go into a grocery and you're like, oh, today 50% off. You know what? I'm not going to buy.
Yeah.
Of course.
I don't find it. I can understand if a stock at 100 rupees was valuable to you.
Yes.
How can the same stock at 80 rupees is not valuable to you now?
I'm going to tell you because one thing and one thing only, that is the collective emotions of people. Collective emotions. So it's the norm, the normal people. That's why when I get up on the stage, I tell everybody, all of you are abnormal. Why? How do I know that? You could have been sitting at home watching TV. You could have been, you paid, you come here, you're sitting here, you're listening to me. You're abnormal. And that very definition of abnormal is that you're not normal. And normality comes because if everybody's jumping off, a mountain, people will just jump off the mountain, think, okay, if everybody's jumping, it must be the right thing to do,
Yeah.
right? And then some abnormal person starts walking the other way, and all of these normal people, they mock him, say, what's wrong with you? So that's why it's abnormal people at that time are going to go, real estate? I can buy it for 40% off, 50% off, 30%.
Now is the time to buy.
Now is the time to buy. They're going to be during the bad time, there's so many people that will lose money. And there's this amount of people
That will make the most money.
and then this amount of people are going to take this money.
Yeah. Yeah.
you know.
Correct.
It's just the wealth transfer. Nobody really loses it.
If someone is selling, someone is buying.
Yeah, and if there's not enough buyers,
Yeah.
then you get a better deal.
Yeah.
That's it. I remember in 2008 when the market crashed in the United States, way worse than Canada, and that was the first time I went into the United
Lehman
States.
Brothers crash. Yeah.
Yeah. It was the biggest crash since
Yeah,
Depression.
yeah. I remember it was my last final year placement days, and the same day the Lehman Brothers crash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
$1 billion companies,
Yeah.
right? So I was buying $200,000 houses for $30,000.
Crazy.
30,000. And what was I doing?
Buying.
I had investors. I lined up all my investors. I went to foreclosures, properties, or around like that. And I just went in and I said, and people said to me, are you crazy? Sell your house. Don't buy houses. This is a bad time to buy houses. And then I would go to those people and I'd say, you're right. It is a bad time. So you're selling your house and it's a bad time. You're right. So you want to sell it for 40,000? I'll take it for 25. So I made them believe that it is a bad time. Okay. And we were just grabbing the houses like it was like candies. And then we would put $10,000, $15,000 in it. We would put our renters in it. 2 years, 3 years later, we were selling them 3 months later, 6 months later, we were selling them for 100% ROI.
Crazy.
It was crazy. Imagine getting 100%. And I said, this is what I told one of my mentees. I said, imagine this. You get on your knees and you go to temple or church and say, God, please, make it so that nobody wants to buy houses. Make it so that the prices are 70% off. Make it so nobody wants it. And make it so that other people think that you're crazy, so then they can sell it to you even better. I said, that time's right now. And nobody is going to tell you because they're normal people with normal emotions. And we made more money. Robert Kiyosaki, my friend, said to me in 2008, he made more money in 2008, 9, 10, and 12 than he had ever made in his entire life before that. Right? So.
What does he do different? Is there anything that he that's very different than you, that you like about him?
Oh yes, I mean he's got a cash flow game. I think that's a genius idea. So in order for you to learn how money works, how real estate works, you play this game and you make mistakes in those games, and then you enjoy it. And it's the best learning idea. So he invented that game using Monopoly, but then it's like a rat race and talks about different things in there. And I believe that is his ticket to. So what he did was he wrote a book called Rich Dad Poor Dad to promote his cash flow game, and then so that's one thing that he still does. That's his passion right now. The second thing he does mostly is just he buys rental apartments. He doesn't. I wish I had done that, kept them all. I was interested mainly in the beginning, buy, fix, and sell it, and keep some, buy, sell, 5 years, 10 years, but sell it basically. I don't want to hold them, but he kept it, so it's good for him that way. The third thing is that what I would want from him would be his. He's an author. I'm an author. He did something that made Rich Dad Poor Dad book crazy big. And he told me two things, which was amazing. One, I asked people, why do you think he wrote Rich Dad Poor Dad? They go, oh, because he wants to teach. He said, no, I wrote it to sell my cash flow games. That's number one. You won't guess it if you read the whole book. But what did he do? He had massive value. And then people by the end are like, what is this cash flow game? Let me think about it. And then he seeded it throughout the book. That's number one. Number two, he went on TV and radio shows and he booked it. Nobody cared about Rich Dad Poor Dad. Nobody would even want to touch that book. He went on the radio and says, your home is not an asset. And what he learned was that was a bad hook for people, for media. And media was like, what do you mean? Is he crazy? Let me get him on. And then people started calling him on TV, and he kept explaining to people that your home is not an asset. And that was like, makes no sense. In the beginning, I didn't even understand that myself. But so what he taught me was that if you're writing a book, there has to be a hook. What's that hook? What's your hook? And I'm like, oh, so I wish I had done that with my books in the beginning, to have a hook. And once again, having a hook basically means more people will see it. More people will buy it. More people will buy it. More people would want to do business with you. More people are going to do business with you. More people you're going to be able to serve. More people you serve, more impact you're going to have, the better work you're going to do for God.
That's crazy. I think it's so amazing. And what is this book all about? Ultimate Secrets to Wealth.
So in this one, there's a concept I call plurking. It's on the first chapter. You'll see it. And plurking. So what I did was I took because of my background and billions of people all over the world who teach their kids to just become doctors, engineers, or whatever. What I did was I took the word play and I took the word work and I combined it and I made it up and it's called plurking. So what that means is do what you love and enjoy and make money. And it's such a simple, do what you love and be successful. Enjoy so the time goes fast and you're successful and you have the money. So an artist who paints, who's so good at being an artist, but he's poor, you're not plurking. A doctor who is so good making lots of money and he's a doctor, but he hates going to he did it because somebody told him to do it. He's not plurking. So all over the world talk about the word plurking. And so how do you plurk? How do you become successful in business? How do you become wealthy in not only real estate, but entrepreneurship? And how do you how do you attract the right people? How do you close them? How do you over deliver? And then how do you build your brand? Because that is the dividing point of how many people you're going to serve.
And is it necessary to build a brand?
It is absolutely. It's so necessary that when you wake up tomorrow, the first question you should say to you, what am I doing today to build my brand? Then you wake up the next day, ask the same question. The reason why is that this is your client. This is your listeners. These are your people who are going to watch on YouTube. These are investors. These are high-paying clients, whatever you call them. This is you. if you have a brand, these people come to you. If you don't have a brand, you go to them.
Yeah.
And when you go to them, they tend to go, and now you're working harder. Okay. The bigger the brand, the magnet in between is stronger towards you. Smaller the brand, the less money you will make per transaction. So if I can charge the amount of money that I charge, is because I have that brand, and brand just equates to one thing. It's called trust. Basically, everything in the world works on trust, especially real estate, but anything works on trust. If a stranger comes into your life and trusts you right away and wants to do business with you, then you become a CAM, client attraction machine, not client getting machine. So it's a small little thing. You're not client getting. You're not in business of getting clients. You're in business of attracting clients.
Classic marketing versus sales game.
It is. But how do you do it from a right intent from your heart? And how do you do it with the intention of like, I'm adding massive value?
But it's a long-term and patience game.
It may be. It may not be. Because tomorrow, I make you a best-selling author with, let's say, Brian Tracy, Jack Canfield, and someone. You'll become a brand fast.
Yeah.
So slow and steady wins the race, but then fast and steady wins the race faster.
That's true.
So
That's crazy.
time is not money. Time does not, that has nothing to do with money. People say time is money. No, time is not money. Because then why is one person can make 10 crores in an hour and one person will take entire lifetime? So basically, you should get up and say, if I have a brand, my YouTube channel is going to be much bigger. Simple as that. You are already a brand because you have, this podcast and YouTube channel and people on social media. But if you are bigger, you will attract more people,
Of course.
and then you will have more
It,
people.
it compounds.
Yeah, it compounds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy. But love it so
Good.
much. Thank you so much for being here.
You're
I know, we are already way past almost 1.5, 2 hours now. So thank you for being here. Really
You're
appreciate
welcome.
the time. Love this. Next time you're here in India, let's do another round. We'll talk more about the asset classes that
Yes.
we haven't touched about yet.
Yes.
Like I want to really go deeper on real estate versus gold versus mutual fund versus equities versus maybe other asset classes that we have. We'll do one episode on that.
Sounds good. And if it's okay with you, I like to, the same gift that I've given you, but not in physical format. I like to gift anybody that wants a copy of this book
Sure.
digitally.
Yeah.
We can just send you my stuff. My staff can
course.
send you something.
We'll add
and then-
the description. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll do
So
that.
I would love to gift that book.
But only to 5 people.
No. I want everybody to have it.
Yeah.
It's the 5 people are the people that if it involves my time. See what I mean? Because I'm very fortunate that I remember we sent out an email saying who would like to have lunch with Sunil, and I think it was like 10,000 people. I'm like, well, that's not physically possible.
Yeah.
So timing wise, I have to make sure that we're allocating it. But this is done in a way so then 100% clarity is on this is simply this is to add massive value, and then some of those people are going to say, I want to check out what he's doing. Very simple.
Yeah.
And then maybe they want to come to my event and they want to go to the next level to do that. And even if they don't,
Yeah.
that's okay. I want to give you this gift.
Amazing. Thank you for being there. Thank you for spending the time with us.
You're welcome.
Thank you.